can't believe it. The button still works, Nate.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, just to give everybody perspective. Now, Nate, you're in Houston, and I'm guessing your weather's probably chilly, but it's a bit colder here. And in my office where I'm doing this, it's a balmy 62 degrees.
Ooh.
So hopefully with the space heater, it's going to warm up and not just the subject matter, but the actual temperature.
Yeah, well, with the heat's on here, I'm at 75. Even though outside it's like 30, it's crazy, and we're in down here in South Texas. It's not it's not the weather that we're used to. So you get
No.
a lot of bursting pipes out here because as soon as it goes freezing, the pipes burst and all this other stuff. So it's a horror show.
All right. Now, obviously, the subject today is the shooting of Alex Pretti. It's Pretti or Pretty. I don't know how to pronounce it, but we're starting off with a poll from the audience. We just kind of want to see where the pulse is. I started with 2 options, but I changed it to 3 by request from the chat, which is, was this shooting justified? Yes, no, and I don't know. Right now, and I'm very proud of the audience. The plurality at 44 to 46% is saying I don't know, which is a great place.
Which is good to start.
And I think Nate and I try to encourage everybody to start with the premise of you don't know always, and try to then break things down as information comes in versus a wanted outcome and feeding to it.
Yes. So I know everybody, we try to watch, and I would say this, try to watch all the other lawyers who try to engage in this topic and look at the law they use, because a lot of times you won't, like any lawyer who's not saying Graham v. Connor, and this is the standard for police shootings. They don't know what they're talking about. It's like you have to know what law to apply in these situations. Use of force, Supreme Court precedent. And so I know a lot of people will be like, hey, look at this. And as soon as you look at it, I would know right straight from the jump that, okay, this person has come to the right conclusion, but for the wrong reason. So I think what this is going to do is, hopefully this will be like one of my classes when I used to teach at law school. I'll explain to you what the law is, how it works when I used to teach at our police academy, how we used to teach use of force and those type of things, how the law would see these type of things. And then we'll look at the video and then apply what we've learned to kind of situation. And then, like I always say, you come to the determination if it's justified or not. Most of the people coming in, I'm assuming, already know what my view is, but I kind of want to give it to you flat and plain so you can come to your own conclusion without me priming you to it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But before we do, and you mentioned specific laws that have to be addressed. So can we start off by addressing one thing that I've started to see a lot that is not necessarily a fair analogy or applicable? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Applicable. Thank you. Kyle Rittenhouse is not a good comparison because Kyle Rittenhouse was a civilian and it was a self-defense case versus this is a law enforcement encounter. So they're not apples to apples. Can you explain why?
Yes. So, and you'll see this a lot. And I'm not trying to call out anyone in particular, but Andrew Bronker, he does a lot of these self-defense. So if it's civilian self-defense, the person to watch is Andrew Bronker, because he knows civilian self-defense like the back of his hand. He's literally written a book on it. But when he tries to do a police analysis and uses civilian self-defense, that's doctrinally wrong, technically wrong. Like, it's wrong on all accounts. And the reason why is the civilian standard is what would a reasonable person do. That's an untrained person just living their life in that situation. What the law enforcement standard is what a reasonable officer would do. And that takes into account training and procedures and the stuff that reasonable officers are trained to do. So and a second huge red flag whenever you start talking about civilian self-defense versus police use of force is that civilians aren't allowed to initiate force. They cannot go in and initiate force because they're not authorized to do so, where law enforcement officers are required to initiate force to make things like arrest or what we call seizures. So the law says we give you the right to initiate force to either seize something or someone, where civilians don't have that right. So, for instance, if a civilian seizes someone illegal, it's kidnapping. But if the officer seizes someone and it happens to be a mistake, that's not kidnapping. So that's the difference between officers being allowed to do something versus civilians not being allowed to do something. So when we talk about self-defense in a civilian context, some of those principles do apply, but more than likely they just don't. You're doing the wrong analysis. And the Supreme Court has made this clear in a case called Graham v. Connor, which is used in every law enforcement in the United States. All law enforcement officers, all training focuses on the Graham v. Connor standards. And just to show you how deep this goes, every police shooting case from George Floyd, Kim Potter, they all employ Graham v. Connor. And in Kyle Rittenhouse's case, they said nothing about Graham v. Connor because it didn't apply because he wasn't a law enforcement officer.
Okay, thank you. I really wanted to get that out there, and I want to get everything else out there that might come up like that because it sort of confuses the issue. And there is a risk. I know our friend Viva Fry likes to bring it up. He hates analogies. I love analogies, but I do understand that if you're not careful with analogies, you can wind up arguing about the validity of an analogy and getting away from the topic at hand, which can cause further confusion.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we definitely want to try to stay away from arguing the analogy instead of arguing the point that we have at hand. But I also think too, it's important that people understand what the law is in this particular context, what officers are trained in this particular context, and what happened here. And then and then the great part about the American system is that the regular people, will be the jury, and you get to say, well, here's what they're trained, here's what the law says. If we apply all this to these facts, how do we come out? And that's kind of what I want to empower you to do. No matter if you agree with me or not, I want to empower you to understand the law from the perspective of a reasonable officer and the tactics that are trained to those officers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, in the chat, the Real Rock has a really good suggestion. Examining when cops can use force and when they can't is probably a good starting.
Well, that's exactly that. That's the first slide we got. We're going to that. Let's read the super chat before we pass up back.
Oh, absolutely.
20-year Leo here. Thank you for your service. Not enough room to put all I want to say, but I'll just say it was awful but lawful. Thanks for the stream. Hey,
we'll see where we land.
I think you can get there, but again, let's do this. Let's get the background information so people understand exactly kind of where we're at with this. All right, so what you're looking at now, people, is what's called the use of force continuum. You'll see a whole bunch of variations. There's some new ones now because some of the departments don't like this one, but this is what's called the use of force continuum. I used to teach this.
What do you mean they don't like this one? Why?
Well, so the newer use of force continuums are made like circles, because what happens is
like an OODA loop,
like just a circle. And the reason why it's a circle is because you can actually start on any one of these levels. Somebody could present a gun, so you're automatically at the top level.
Sure.
The theory is psychologically is this makes it seem like an officer has to kind of go up every step.
Inevitable.
The next step. But in some instances, you can skip step. You go from officer's presence straight to lethal force, based on what the subject is presenting to you. So that's why this is sometimes not this. Some departments still use it, others do not. But I find this to be an easier teaching tool because it's more real life of what's actually going on. Now, use of force. Now, what this graphic is, it essentially is showing you the various types of levels of the use of force. So, for instance, on the bottom, you'll see officer's presence. That's just an officer standing there. It's actually, you'll hear in the news, they'll say show of force, right? The police department made a show of force against these people. Well, they're not actually putting hands on anybody. They're just there. So the officer's presence is a show of force or use of force. And 98% of police encounters are just officer presence. They're being there. The next level up is dialogue. Is the officers just talking to you, blah, 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 blah. That's the second level, right? Hey, what's going on? That type of thing. And again, this is either, like it says here, persuasion or warnings, don't do this, or hey, I would kind of like you not to do this. Then we move up. to empty hands and empty soft hands. This is where it's funny because one of my coworkers when I was working got caught out with this. Where the defense attorney, they're at trial. Defense attorney asks my partner, he's like, "Did you use force to take down my client?" And he was like, "No, he was a gentleman. I told him to put his hands behind my back. I grabbed his hands and put the handcuffs on him." And he was like, "Well, here's your use of force continuum. What does it say here?" And it says, empty hands, as soon as you touch somebody, that's a use of force. So he's like, "Oh, so you were mistaken. You did use force." And even though it was a shitty thing to do, right? Because it's like, it didn't fool anybody. The jury could still convict the guy. But yes, as soon as you touch somebody, it is considered a use of force. And empty soft hands, it's like, it's me like an arm bar or a wrist lock. Empty hard hands, that's where you get into your OC spray. Right, you're spraying somebody with OC.
Where would tasers fall?
Tasers would go up to impact weapons.
Okay,
But so we got empty hands, we got OC spray, less than lethal, we have strikes, punches, those type of things. Next level up, we have your impact weapons. That's your aspeton. That is your you just said it.
Taser.
Your taser. And those are less than lethal options. And then at the very top, that's your lethal force, deadly strikes, choke holds, firearms.
Now, in fairness, tasers kind of bridge because some jurisdictions, I believe, call a taser potentially a lethal weapon.
Yeah, they can be a lethal weapon, even if used against the officer, because they have the ability to
disable.
But they're technically called less than lethal options. If I want to, that's why I can taser you to disable you, but I can't shoot you to disable you because shooting is objectively lethal. But
I'm bringing this up because I remember several years back that was a case and somebody died under a taser.
Yeah.
There's questions about whether it's lethal. And I've also interviewed multiple times Dr. Michael Wood, who was a police officer, and he kind of has the stance that he doesn't like tasers, if you will. He's like, if you're getting to the point with a taser, you're pretty much getting to the point with a gun, like somewhere in the middle. So there's an argument in that. So, but that's not here.
But yeah, and I think that's wrong, because I think, like, for instance, you may see some videos where somebody will be like, "Hey, let's you're under arrest," and the person's like, "No," and so putting up his hands like he's going to fight, and then they'll say, "If you don't, I'll tase you," and they'll tase me then, and they'll tase him. In that instance, I wouldn't say a gun would that would be appropriate if you take a gun and shoot the guy. And also, too, batons are lethal weapons too. They could kill you. Hitting somebody with a aspeton in the head could kill somebody. I am a certified aspeton trainer, and we teach people, yes, you can kill people with aspetons, you can kill people with tasers. So make sure it depends on where you hit them and how you hit them. So
now the aspeton is kind of like a car antenna. It's like one of those things.
It's the thing that pulls that. No, but it's very it's hard. So the aspeton, before they used to, it's the retractable batons. So
right.
And when you fling it out, it sticks out, and you can use it to stop someone. But that's not the first thing. That's one of the later things you pull out.
You seem to be roboting. Is it just me, or is that happening with the chat?
Am I roboting? What is Nate's preferred tool available options when he is working the beat? His tactics changed much since that time. Oh, I don't. I'm not working the beat now. Preferred tools. Well, to be honest with you, I barely took out. I've had to take out like my aspeton, and sometimes I'll go up. I've done OC spray, but I've not sprayed anybody in about 10 years. Because generally, I wasn't. I was really more. I put my hands on people. I was able to, and I was bench pressing like 400 pounds at that time. So it was I was able to physically kind of overpower most of the subjects that I had. And very rare, I would get a situation where somebody would actually have a weapon. Like if somebody had a knife or something like that, then you'd be another different. But I just didn't encounter that. Matter of fact, most cops don't really encounter those types of situations a lot. Most of my colleagues, even from other departments, didn't really pull out their weapon and shoot people.
Yeah, there are people who have an entire career that never pull it out once, right?
Yeah. Now, I do want to make sure. So this is from the officer perspective, but now the question should be, how do we move up? Like what determines what level you're at? And what determines what level you're at is the suspect. So this is the use of force continuum. This is part of it that I used to train officers. Now, at the bottom, so what generally we used to train officers, you can be one level above where the suspect is. So if the
Okay.
suspect is just talking, then you can be ready to go up to the next level and maybe hold their hand, soft tactics like that. If the suspect is fighting, punching, like here where you see 3 where they're punching, the suspect is punching, then you can go up to your taser, aspeton, and even your OC spray because you're in a fight. They're fighting you. So you generally want to stay one level above the suspect because, and we used to always say this, cops don't fight fair. You always want 2 cops for every 1 suspect. The more, the merrier. But also that goes into your use of force because now if I have one guy with fighting, I got 10 cops there or hands on them, then it becomes a little less reasonable for you to use, other tactics. But again, it's really situational based. The number of officers you have, the number of suspects. So for instance, if I got 5 suspects and I'm alone, but they're all unarmed and I'm the only person armed, then that may allow you to move up to the level of deadly physical force because 5 people against 1, the numbers aren't on your side. So this is something that's very flexible in terms of the conditions that you come to. 1-on-1, now you're talking about something different than 5-on-1 and reverse.
Sure.
So you always have to think about those things too. But inherently, if someone is screaming and yelling at you, you can move up to maybe soft tactics on grabbing their arm. If somebody's trying to punch you, you can move up and use your OC spray. So just imagine officers are trained. ICE, everyone are trained to at least be one level above. And it's got to be reasonable. It has to be reasonable. And sometimes you can go 2 levels above, right? In that case, let's say if you have a trained boxer, Mike Tyson in his prime.
Oh, well, yeah.
Right? He could kill you if so. But if you have that type of knowledge, then you can move up another level.
Michael Brown.
Exactly. Conditioning, all these things do matter in these situations. So now, with that being said, when we're looking at the videos from the situation, we always want to start thinking about if the officer is using pepper spray, if the officer is using a gun, what are the suspects doing? And is the officer's response proportional to what they're doing? Now, you'll hear Broncos say that a lot, proportionality, because those are some of the things I say carry over from civil, from the non-law enforcement self-defense to the law enforcement justified use of force.
Sure.
Those are some of the things that transition over.
Well, force is force, technically, between the two. So yeah, a lot would transfer or be similar.
So now this is the standard that when we're looking at these videos, we have to keep this in mind because this is how the court is going to look at the officer's actions. It is an objective standard. What that means is that it's not what that officer in the moment thought. It is it's like you're removing that officer from the scene and placing an objectively reasonable officer and saying, would that objectively reasonable officer do the same thing that this cop did? Or would it be within his realm of possibility? Now, that's what you're looking for.
Not only it's an objective officer. And what I mean is you could interview 5 officers and maybe only 2 of them would do the same thing. That would still be an objectively reasonable officer if some of them would do it. It's not saying that 100% of all officers would do the exact same thing, correct?
That's correct. Yes. You're looking for essentially it's a proxy, right? This is what here's an objective officer we just kind of made up, placed them at the scene and say, what would that officer in that same training and all that stuff with this officer and the facts that this officer knows at the time, would they do something similar? So here is exactly what it says. An objective standard used to judge an officer's actions. Under this standard, a particular application of force must be judged through the perspective of a reasonable officer facing the same set of circumstances without the benefit of 20/20 hindsight, and it be based on the totality of the facts that are known to that officer at the time the force was used. So a lot of times you'll see, like in the Renee Good, a lot of times you'll hear people saying, oh, you can clearly see she was turning away from him. But you have to show that that officer saw that in that split second timing, because when we played it back, it was like half a second where the car moved and shot at him. So it wouldn't be so people are looking at it in hindsight, like saying, hey, in hindsight, maybe you shouldn't have done that. Maybe you shouldn't have done that. But that's not the case when it comes here. You have to look at it from the officer's perspective in that moment, what he knew,
also from their
how he acts.
Yeah, and you, Renee, good, you're bringing this up. Also, you have to look at it from the officer's perspective in terms of you're looking at a video from this particular angle back here, and you can see things that the officer who's standing over here cannot see. His perspective, what is within the range of his vision and ability to see is very significant. And I mean, maybe it's a terrible analogy, but Penn and Teller, very famous magicians, talk about how their tricks work. A lot of times, if you take the audience and you move them 30 feet to the right and they're looking, they would 100% see everything that makes the trick possible. So you have to go by the perspective of where the officer stands, not where a video camera stands from the side, what you see, but what the officers actually could see from where they are. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. Let me see. Somebody says here, hey, law enforcement has not used a force continuing diagram premise for needs. Yeah, that's what I just said. You lost some point. He
literally announced and said that there's a modern version of it. We'll repeat it again. There is a more modern version of this, but it is more confusing to look at because it's circular and there's a lot of things going on. So again, there is a modern version of this, but this demonstrates the basic blocks for the purposes of discussion now.
Yes. Again, there's a different version, but this just shows you the baseline principle. So yes, you'll see something different, but the principle will still be the same.
Oh, okay, right? Wait, we got to do it again because the question came up. So why would you use the old one? Again, there's a modern version of this one, but it is a lot more confusing to look at. This has a clearer delineation for the purposes of discussion. So we are using it now.
I mean, maybe I should show the other one so people can understand, can see.
Go ahead and pull it up because now they're saying, "Oh, they're just doing it to lie to you." So now we're lying. Okay.
By telling you there's another version, I don't know if lying to you is telling you the other version. So here is there are many different versions, but here is the other version that I think people may want to see. Let me open a new tab so we can all see it nice and clear. To open this picture in the new tab. Give me 1 second, people. Open image in new tab. Here we go. Blah, 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 and move this up. And here is the newer version of the force continuum diagram. Can you see it on the screen? Oh, I gotta move.
Yeah, let's remove this chat for now.
Oh, sorry. There it is. So this is the newer version. Now, again, the reason why they do it in this circular pattern is because they recognize that the other one, the pyramid, seemed too rigid as a visual. So instead, they use this because you can actually start anywhere. You can start at lethal force, and that's why it's red and goes. You can start at soft. So it's the same thing, but just in a different visual. So you can see that you don't want the officer to feel like I have to only start with my baton, or I have to start. You can start anywhere.
Also, it can go back down. So part of the reason for the circle is how do they react? Okay, if they calm down, then the police officer may calm down and then may go up. And so and that's why it's a circle. It's like action, reaction. It's like an OODA loop. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's observe, identify. Anyway, the basic OODA loop is you see it, you take an action, you look at the reaction, and then you take your next action, and then it just goes around and around, and
But this is a lot more confusing unless I have 30 minutes to kind of just lay all of this out to you. It's a little more confusing, and I don't think it's just as natural as a pyramid. But the one thing with the pyramid, which I do agree with, it just seems too rigid. It makes you feel like you have to stay, like you have to go 1, 2, 3, versus I can be at the top level. And it also makes you feel like you can't go back down.
Right.
Which on the pyramid, you can go back down, but this makes it very more muddy. And I personally think this is more confusing, but I understand why they went to this. So just
thank you.
hopefully.
Observe, orient, decide, act. Thank you. That's
Yes.
UDA that I was talking about. So observe this, orient yourself to it, and then act. Or what was the third one? Geez, you guys are going too fast in the chat. But sorry, decide. So, and then you act, and then you observe again. So that's why it's a loop, because you don't just continuously do something until the end. You have to say, oh, is this working? Yes or no. Is it having an effect? Yes or no.
You know, the fact that I shocked him, is he now compliant? And if he is compliant, then you move down the so that's what it is. Let me see. My level of force is determined by the force used against me +1 as rules. That's what we said.
Well, he said as stated. So thank you. Thank you for backing us up. I do appreciate it.
And this one, this was where I wish PragerU was better, because I think we, the public, need to be better informed on law enforcement doctrines. Yeah. I didn't know if PragerU did that.
Well, the problem with PragerU is I think their videos are all like 10 to 15 minutes. Some things can't be covered in 10 to 15 minutes. It's very difficult.
And again, when we use something that's out of date, we make sure to tell you it's out of date, tell you why it's out of date, and explain to you why we're using the older one, because it just puts the concepts for this discussion, makes them easier to understand. But the concepts are still the same. It's just the way you visually understand them. And we've made those arguments. So if someone,
also, this isn't a trial, folks. It's not a trial. It's two yahoos on YouTube who don't have 100% of the information and are only going by what knowledge we have and what we see in front of us. But we're not meaning this to be legal advice or anything of that sort. It is just commentary. Yes.
And again, we're showing you generally how these things are judged at the federal level, at the state level, and so forth and so forth. Does use of force pyramid go out the window when an officer's life is in danger during a one-on-one? Or does the Leo consider judging by 12 carried by 6? No, the use of force continuum, the pyramid, if someone has a gun, you use a gun, right? If it's reactionary, it's a reaction to the suspect's action. So it doesn't go out the window on a one-on-one. If the officer's life is in danger, then you have to do whatever is necessary to prevent your life from being terminated. So the use of force continuum, you're just at the top level. You're literally, if you go back on the use of force continuum, you're just at the top level. That's what you're saying. So it's still the same. Now, I do want to move to the next slide here so we can know. All right, so now to judge this whole paragraph, the court says, here are 3 factors you should consider. But there are other factors. It's not an exhaustive list. There are other factors you can consider, but the court kind of points to these 3. The nature of the 911 call, whether the person is resisting arrest or not, and whether the person is a serious threat to themselves or the community. Those are the 3 factors. So like, for instance, in this particular situation,
there's no 911 call.
There's no 911 call. Whether the person resisting arrest, we'll see in the video if the person is resisting arrest or what's going on. And then is the person a serious threat? Weapons, the person's actions, does the person have an officer in the chokehold, like that type of thing, or any type of thing that you can judge. And I think most people here know what a serious threat is. Now, some of the other factors I think we should also be thinking about before we go into the videos are number of officers versus number of suspects. You also have to think about, are the suspects female suspects versus male officers, or is it all female officers versus male suspects? Those things do matter. The numbers matter. And some other things I need you guys to also understand too, is that just because you have a gun doesn't automatically make it so police can shoot you. People can lawfully have guns. It's whether you have a gun and you're using it in a way that's threatening toward the officers or to members of the community. That's when you can imply deadly physical force. So I hope that gives us everybody just kind of like a baseline understanding.
And by the way, really quickly, I do want to put out, because there's a lot of complaints like, just get to the videos, just get to the videos. We know. Okay, if you know all this and it's boring for you, no problem. Go ahead, head back out. You can come back to the video, fast forward through all explanations since you already know everything. So go ahead, no problem. Come back later or not. That's fine. But Nate's trying to explain the law, and it's not only to you, it's to me. I am not a lawyer. And I am very open about not being a lawyer. And I do want to know. I want to know, what is the actual law again? I want to be reminded, what is it, as we look at the videos and not just go right to judgments.
Yes. So we are going to look at, did you see the theory of the accident discharged by the officer who took the weapon away? Yes.
Yes.
Explains the gap in shots. Yes. How
Yes.
would that change things? We are going
don't
to
know.
answer that question. But first, we need to let people see what we're talking about and let people understand it. So we're going to play the raw video first. So we're not going to stop it down, and then we'll look at different angles and different versions. So here we go. Now, these are ICE who are in the vehicle. People see them, so they're doing the whole blow the whistle thing. Let's, let everybody know ICE is here. Now, these two women are going to be the two women involved in this struggle later. You'll see them right here in the ICE car.
And the hand is Alex. That we're
is
looking
Alex.
at, right?
Is the person who died. Yes.
And he's holding a cell phone, it appears. Is that correct? Or a smartphone?
Yeah, he is holding a cell phone. You'll see him in a second. That's him. That's
Okay.
Alex. And on top of that, Alex is armed, and he is legally armed.
Mhm.
So he is legally armed, exercising his Second Amendment right. I'm a big advocate of the Second Amendment. So all that stuff is he was armed. Just because you're armed doesn't mean you should get shot. That's ridiculous. So yes, he's exercising his Second Amendment. He has a camera in his phone, and he's doing his little ICE thing. He's in the street. So let's continue.
Okay, his other hand is empty. Stop. I want to cover these little points because I've heard things ahead of time. So in his hands, just so we're clear, one hand has a phone that appears to be filming and the other hand is empty.
Yeah, that's what it looks like we're looking at right now. All right, so now he's waving traffic by.
Go.
Now there he is. He's walking toward the officer because that officer's gotten out of the car. Now you see, if you can, I'm gonna zoom in here. So
please do, because it's very hard to see what's going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna zoom in here. Let me see. Oops, play this. So here's the first officer. The first officer gets out and he's confronting them now. So the first officer is coming out, he's confronting both the gentleman who is killed and his accomplice.
Well, hold on. We don't know if there's an association with that female and Alex, do we at this point?
That's true, but they're blowing the whistles and stuff, so I assume they're associated together.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Accomplices. Yeah. So now this the camera's out of because the person is screaming and took the camera out of face. So now
I wish I could see that happened while it was down.
Yeah, but we'll see from the other angle. But he's put his arm around the woman, and now you see the other woman who was with her is yelling at the officer.
Now hold on. Why does he have his arm around this? Is he holding her, tackling her? Is that comforting? Well, that's kind of odd.
Well, because I think there was some confrontation with her and the officer, so he stepped in between. But now you see he's holding the woman up for some reason. But now let's see what the officer does to the other woman, because the other woman is screaming at the officer. What does he do?
Okay, so the woman is shoved by it.
She's shoved on the floor. So now, if you talk about our use of force continuum, is this something that's appropriate in these situations? Somebody just yelling at you, screaming at you, and now this officer's pushed her to the floor. That's something that you would also have to consider, because remember, we're not looking at just one moment. We're looking at the totality of the circumstances, right? The totality of the circumstances.
So on the continuum angle, would that be 2 up? Because it's not soft hands, it's hard hands. I'm asking. So she's yelling and he shoves. So that would be above a soft hand.
Yes, because generally yelling will get you something like, hey, pushing you over, maybe grabbing your arm, something like that. But when you're pushing someone down who's yelling at you, we're at another level. We're at a higher level. And I think at that point in time, we're not talking about, she's not punching and striking him, but she's just yelling at him. So right now you do have this kind of conversation, screaming and yelling versus pushing and shoving. But even though nobody's going to judge this officer for that push, but just understanding the officer has escalated the situation. Fairly so. He's escalated.
Oh, people are saying that that's actually a female LEO, I guess, who did the shove. I did not know that. It's hard to tell, honestly.
Because they're masked. But
I think everybody has winter gear on. So
yeah.
I do know they wear masks, and that's controversial, but I think everybody has a degree of clothing on because it's obviously snow and cold out, so it's harder to tell everything.
So now the officer is spraying pepper spray to the guy. He's spraying him with pepper spray.
Back up a couple steps. Why is he spraying the pepper spray? I want to know what's going on here. We've got
All right, so I'm backing up.
Go ahead now. Whoop. Please. Okay.
So
Shove.
Now he's pulling out the pepper spray, and he or she is spraying.
Okay, so hold on. Alex got between the officer who shoved
and was
the female
person on the floor.
And the officer who did the shove is spraying pepper spray at Alex, which isn't necessarily inappropriate at this point because, hold on, that officer shoved the female. We'll question that whether it's appropriate or not. But then now he has inserted himself and is potentially attacking that first officer. Is that a fair statement, for the pepper spray? So it's
you can, yes, I'll even give you to the pepper spray. He's now intervened, stepped between them, and they, I think, pushed the officer. I think you see like a little push of the officer. Let me go back. I think you see like a little push of the officer. Like, so the person kind of goes, officer pushes, and he goes and pushes the officer, and then the officer, because now the officer's been pushed, pepper spray is allowed.
So that would be proper escalation.
Correct.
Next level.
If you push me, now we're at the next level. I'm gonna pepper spray you.
Now
the other two women or the other two people haven't touched any officer yet. So now it'll be questionable whether they should be sprayed or not. But even with that, I think that's ticky tacky. So I don't think that we really have to worry about the analysis. But I would also say we have to also take into the account the entire situation. We can't just say, this all of it has to be taken into account. Okay, now it seems like he is pulling.
I can't quite tell. We're gonna have to back up because this is where it's starting to get just a little bit muddy, and I'm struggling to see who, and what. I wish this damn thing was square and it didn't have to scroll up and down and up and down. It's very hard to.
Let's go back. All right, so I'm going here. So I'm going to play it a little bit. Let's move it up. So here. And I got to zoom in now and play it. I'm going to pull it back a little bit and play it so we can see it. So,
okay, who's on the ground? Who's rolling around on the ground?
The woman who was initially pushed.
Okay.
When you go back, the woman who's initially pushed is on the ground. He's trying to pick her up, and then they're trying to pull them apart. So now the two women are here, and he is here. Now, this is when the video gets better because someone took it from this point and improved the video to make it a lot easier to see. So I'll play it from that one because this one is now zoomed in. It's a lot easier to see. So here's this video.
Oh, God.
So now it's a lot better. It's easier to see. So here's this video, and we're going to play it from here.
Honestly.
So that's the woman who was shoved. She's on the floor.
Okay, yeah. Pause. I just want to. I want you to identify where everybody is, just so we know who we're talking about. So on the ground, is that him on the ground laying?
He's on the ground laying sideways, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 officers, maybe 7 if that's an officer, and then you have the two women by this white car, and one is on the floor, and the other one, and she has like something on her face to maybe protect her from the pepper spray.
Or cold or whatever.
Or cold. No, I think she has a gas mask.
Does she? Okay.
Maybe it might be. But we'll see. But so
but by the way, does that not that would be a mitigating factor in the use force of continuum if you can't use pepper spray because they have a gas mask on, would that necessitate or allow a further escalation because your tools literally you can't take it. I just want to ask that.
Yes, no, definitely. Oh, you'll use a different tactic. That doesn't mean you automatically go up to gun. You could use a different tactic, maybe your taser, maybe something else, right? It doesn't automatically mean you go to gun. You just use a different tactic. And again, we're talking about men, it looks like, and 2 women. So you'd also have to take that into account too. Is it likely it's 7 officers versus 3 people? How far up can you really go at the for this force continuum? But I'll continue to play it. Mm-hmm. Now, at this time, I don't know.
That looked like there was 3 people now. That was
It's-
weird. When it shifted, were there actually 3 women on the side or 2?
No, there's only 2. There's only 2. There's only 2.
Okay.
Now, so you got these 2 officers. Now, the question is, are these 2 women any type of threat to the officers? I don't think so. This officer who we said was female looks pretty male to me, but he's now turned his attention back to this guy. You got an officer in the back, and you got this officer watching these 2 women. Now, I do want to back it up here because what you do see is this officer on the right-hand side here is going to be hitting the guy, but he's using the correct tactics. Like he's using force because now they're trying to get him down. So he's just, they're trying to get compliance. This looks ugly, but they are trying to gain compliance.
Tell me what you mean specifically when you say he's hitting him correctly. Is that like open-handed, like pay attention
What
to
I mean is,
type of thing, or what?
What I mean is, if you look under his legs, you're going to see he's going to start like hitting, trying to get the arm out. It looks like to gain compliance. So he's hitting to gain compliance, and then when he gains compliance for the arm, that's when they stop hitting.
Okay, so appropriate. He doesn't continue.
Yeah, he's trying to just gain compliance. Let me see. Bronca made the argument last night with Joe that the use of deadly force was justified simply by possessing the gun. Then everyone who simply possesses a gun, no, that's
not quite accurate.
That's ridiculous. Right. But again, that's what happens when again, that's a ridiculous statement. Anybody who 2A knows it's a ridiculous statement. But let me read the end because the end is important. And getting into an altercation with federal authorities. No, that doesn't work that way. I can be armed and get into an altercation, but if I don't use the gun, go for the gun or anything, you can't just shoot me saying, "Oh, because he had a gun." That's just ridiculous. Hearing gun was all they needed, all that's needed to get a gun. Yeah, but the officer has to also know. I just think.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I think this is too early to make that judgment because it does factor, but I don't know if it's conclusive yet.
Oh, somebody else did I miss the super chat? There's the internal factors of police, such as people on video protesters saying they would resist with violence, carry guns for the purpose, become part of the reasonable analysis. No, not really.
They said that. If you had him saying it on camera and planning to hit, maybe, but that's kind of hard to.
Yeah, I don't think just because some other people said it doesn't mean that these people are even doing that or saying that. But again, it's what a reasonable officer does, and you can't just say, "I heard it on TV, that's why I shot this guy." Right? It's kind of like, no, you had to see something that was imminent to you. So that's what I would consider with the analysis. But it's a good question. Do you need your ID to legally carry in Minnesota? I don't know. But I know.
I don't know if you do, but he did have a carry permit supposedly, and therefore, I mean, the police chief said he had a carry permit.
He's a lawful gun owner. Let's continue. I'm not going to play that.
Yeah, you can't because of YouTube.
Yeah, but I want to say this. So let's go back and we'll see this guy in the gray right here. I don't know if you guys see my mouse.
I do.
But he's going to walk up and he's going to start searching the guy, it looks like. And right about here, he's searching him from the back. And there you'll see he's going to pull the gun out of his waist. So you'll see the gun come up. And then he pulls the gun out and he starts turning the opposite way.
Right.
And moving away. So now the guy is totally unarmed. And this guy, because after they hear gun, this guy then withdraws his weapon. So now you've heard gun. The guy isn't reaching for the gun. So people say he's reaching for the gun. He's not reaching for the gun because we got one officer on one arm, the other officer on the other arm, and you have another officer who's already taken a gun. That doesn't mean he couldn't have another gun. But at this particular time, but like 7 officers, right?
Well, do we know both of his arms are being held by officers?
Well,
I don't have conclusive proof of that. I know that it looks like the left arm is being held by the guy bending over that you're on. Then the guy closest to us maybe has control of his other arm, but I can't tell from what I've seen. I just am saying I don't know. Well, I'm not going to say it's not true, but I can't tell.
Maybe it's unreasonable for me to say that the officer on each side are trying to control his arm. Maybe that's unreasonable, but I think it's a reasonable assumption to make in this situation, especially trying to get control. officers are trying to put handcuffs on this guy. And the only way you can put handcuffs on him is to do it. So I don't believe the officer just standing there and watching his arms spill out. But I'm assuming, now having saying he has control may be elite, but I'm assuming the officers there struggling with him because that's what they train you to do. You get the right, you get the left, and we're going to try to put him.
No, I understand, but I've seen so many, body cam footages of them, fighting with an arm going around that it's not necessarily in control. It could be trying to get it under control.
Trying to gain control.
At that time, I just wanted to point that out. I can't tell if he actually has control over that arm or not because it's blocked.
And I agree with that. Here's this guy pulls his gun out and points it, but this is after the supposedly gun is said, and then the other guy pulls the gun. Now, this guy has a great view of the gun being removed, right? His view is pretty good because this guy's literally pulling the gun out the guy's back, and he's right.
One would think.
But again, this happening so fast, I wouldn't be able to say yes, yeah, or nay that he actually saw it, but it just seems very fast. Then the gun comes out, and then now this is where the accidental discharge thing comes in, because some people say, hey, there was an accidental discharge, and that's what caused it. So we'll talk about that in a second. But now let's look at some of the other angles, because there are other angles here that we can look at. Here is an angle from the far side of the street. Again, these are still these types of videos. So.
They doing too much, man, and they keep pushing people,
Now, the guy, and this is the guy that we talk about with who took the gun. That's him. So we're gonna look at everything done.
Okay, so hold on.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to get a bearing here. So we are looking at literally a 180.
Yes, because you see that guy in the red. We were looking at probably his video.
His foot. Okay, I'm trying to get a perspective of the video. Okay.
So this is the guy in the red's video.
Okay.
And so now we get to see.
It's almost a 180. It's not quite a 180, but it's like 170 or something or whatever.
And you see this guy coming to get the gun.
Compliance.
Now you heard the first shot, but now if we go back just a little bit. If we go back just a little bit, which you can see, he gets the gun and he turns. Now the gun is gone, but the shot comes really quickly. Now, some people are saying it's an accidental discharge from the officer when he pulled the gun. He just hit the trigger. That's the first shot. Now you see everybody starts running away, and then you'll see that next volley of shots.
Oh shit!
Can we go back to that point to hear the shot? I want to know if the shot was actually the gun being extracted or in his hand, or if it's the other officer. It seems really hard to tell at this point. But yes, there is a lot about that gun. Yeah. So go ahead. It could be down.
Oh shit!
But the problem is he doesn't seem to react like the gun went off in his hand. I don't know. Go back a little bit, because when we hear the shot, just watch his hand. It doesn't seem like there's any shifting in his arm or his hand reacting, but
like the recoil.
Right. Can we just or just reaction like, oh, okay.
So here he is with the gun.
There. Yeah, it doesn't. I heard a gunshot and I don't see, like, there's no movement in the arm, shoulder, and there's no looking at what, like, oh, because you'll feel the gun go off in your hand, and he doesn't seem to be reacting to that. Can you back it up again? I don't want to, project too much. It's just, from what I see, he doesn't seem to.
Oh,
yeah. And then you have the other shots. But there's another angle we can look at. So
right. Well, the first angle does show the first shooter, it appears, who, when he pulls, it does seem to correspond when he draws and fires. That seemed to actually line up with the first shot. But I don't know if you wanted to go back to the other video, red guy video.
Red guy video. All right. So let me go back to red guy video. Let me see. Here is. Oh, matter of fact, let me play this video because it's up and red guy video is not working. All right, so I'll pull up red guy video in a second. Let me go back to this one. This is another angle from the shooting. Now this is our boy right here in this coat, because he looks like he's looking to see what's going on, which is what you want to do, and somebody who's looking to make sure, like, hey, what's going on here?
Yes.
Oh yeah, they stopped this.
Okay, so now he goes in, dives in. All right, good. Yeah, let's.
I think he sees the gun and dives.
He's diving for it. Get out of my way, camera people. Jesus, can't believe it. All these people.
There he is with the gun.
Okay, so let's watch. And then people are like, slow motion, no recoil. Come on now. I'm just pointing this out. All right. Okay, there we go. Was there a jiggle, a shake, anything? Go back to it again. Okay, go back again. I'm not seeing any movement outside of his normal arm swing or anything else.
Okay, you got the gun.
Okay.
Stop. That's the first shot. Now, does that shot come from this gun, or does it come from someone else's gun? And they're going to play it back again. So that's that angle. So the first shot, and I'll play this. This is the Washington Post. They show that how when the guy removes the gun, so you can see it clearly.
Right.
And then the other guy. So that's the effect. Now you said you wanted to go back to red guy.
No, that's fine. That other angle gave it. From what I'm seeing, we can go back to red guy just to see if the initial guy who drew it appeared that the person who drew his weapon fired the first shot, timing wise and sound wise. That it does not appear to be a misfire from what I see. I don't have perfect vision. I can't tell everything, but from what I am seeing, I don't see where the guy extracted the gun and it misfired. I'm not saying it's not possible. I haven't seen it in the video.
All right. Oh, the wrong one. So I want to get the clearest version of it so we don't have to go too crazy with this. Here it is. This is the cleanest version of it. And we can look at it again.
Honestly.
This is red guy. He jumps in there. Sees the gun. Grabs it.
Okay.
This other guy pulls out the gun. Yeah, I think it looks like he shot him because you could see the recoil when he's pulling the bolt.
Yes.
You can
and even in slow motion, you can see the recoil.
Yeah. See, but I can't see that first shot recoil. I'm not going to say I saw that. See, I see because he's behind. So I don't know if that's his first shot or if it's the other one because it's blocked. And then the rest of them come from him. And then you have a whole volley of shots. Now, I'll say this too. This is extremely dangerous because you're shooting and there's a lot of crossfire going on here, right? It's like kind of ridiculous. And another thing, this is border control, not a ICE. So even though they were doing an ICE operation, just wanted to be clear about that. It's border control. So right now, what do we have? We don't know. I think right now, what do we have? We don't know who that, because when we listen to it, we see the first shot. And I would suspect that first shot triggered all the other shots because you're wrestling with somebody.
But it seems like it's the same guy shooting.
It's possible, but again, we probably have to get ballistics to know.
100%. Yeah, we need that. And this is where body cams would be really nice. I know they're supposedly not wearing them there, but good God, would it not be nice to have the body cam of the guy who drew his weapon to see what was going on? Because there's so many questions I have. Like, the arm that I called you out on, and I'm not trying to be mean, but when I said I don't know for sure if that arm is down, I would like that cop's body cam if he had one. I don't think or Border Patrol's body cam if he had one, but I don't see it. There's so many little details that are being blocked by people and crowd. It's difficult.
We got a lot of super chats that have come in, so let's start
Oh,
taking
I'm
care
all
of-
for that. Hey, thank you all.
Oh, did I miss this one?
No, you got that one.
The P320 goes off in the officer's hands. It's clear in another angle. Once that happens, he gets shot. Terrible situation. So let's play out this situation first, right?
Okay.
So let's say all the other officers at the scene, you hear gun, right? This guy has a gun.
Mhm.
Then officers pull out their guns because they're dealing with an armed suspect. They hear a shot. Is it reasonable for the officers to believe that it's the suspect that released that shot and then respond with deadly physical force in this situation? Now, the opposite is it's one of the officers who fired that shot. It wasn't the suspect's gun. It was the officer's gun who shot the first shot.
Mhm.
And if that's the case, how does that now change the analysis? Because the suspect, from what I'm seeing, doesn't seem like he reached for the gun because the other guy went and pulled the gun out. He's not armed at this time. He only had one gun. And some people were saying, well, the phone looks like a gun, but not in this situation because the gun is gone.
Right. Let's clarify that, because I did hear yesterday from people that he was brandishing a weapon. That appears to not be the case at all. A phone is not a gun. He clearly seemed to be filming, and his other hand seemed to be empty. So I don't know where you can get brandishing a weapon from the videos I've seen so far. Just to
Thank
be
you for becoming a
honest.
member.
Thank you, John Springer. John Springer, by the way, is somebody who won a Pulitzer Prize as part of a newsroom, I think in Hartford, the Hartford Courant, something like that.
Oh.
So interesting trivia for you.
What I read says you must have your permit and also valid ID to carry unless a misdemeanor. Okay. Once the suspect is known armed, he remains so until he's secured and searched by for all weapons. Yeah, I would even agree with that. I would agree with that. I would say if you find somebody to be armed, you want to search them for all weapons. But to be honest with you, I kind of considered, if I'm wrestling with somebody or getting somebody down, I kind of consider them to be armed until I can search them, or until I know that their arms are in a particular situation where they can't reach for weapons. So what we do is like in hot situations, we'll only search like the belt line and just until we can remove the suspect or something like that.
Which, by the way, the Border Patrol guy who grabbed the gun seemed to be pretty sharp. Like, it appears he was doing just that. He saw the gun and grabbed the gun. I mean, in terms of, doing their job, is that not appropriate to reach in and grab that like he did?
Yeah. He looked like, you see him here. He's looking. Okay, I got a straight shot. Now he's searching while the other people are trying to get things. He's searching. He's even got the guy's leg. He's searching. Got the gun. Now he doesn't. Now the problem is maybe he doesn't tell everybody he's got the gun, but you still assume he could be more guns. He's got the gun and moved away. So that's the part where, again, these are good tactics, right? He's found somebody's arm. He's searching while everybody else is trying to get the gun under control. So that is where it's at. So again, even with this, just because you have a gun doesn't mean you deserve to be shot. I'm a 2A guy. So maybe this is somebody who's a liberal Democrat or something. But
okay,
I
go back. Somebody's saying that this video is saying, hey, Hunley asked about where his hands were. That stabilized video you showed answers the question. I'd look back and show them they're firmly planted on the ground in front of Alex. So let's see if we can tell where his hands are, because this is very important. If his hands are both held down.
Well, I think this is his hand, but I'm not sure. Okay, so
that's a foot.
Yeah, it looks
right there. I can see an officer's foot.
So these officers, this is Border Patrol shooting. These officers are literally grabbing his arm, and this officer is grabbing his arm too. And then somebody's shooting, and then that makes them release his arms, and then that's when he falls. So yeah, it looks like this one is the one closest to us is grabbing the right arm. These two are trying to grab the left arm because their hands are here. So
right, but I can't tell that he actually has the arm held. He's grabbing for it, but I can't tell if it's secured. I'm sorry, I can't tell if it's actually secured at this point.
Well, in this position, what's holding him up? Because if his arms aren't on the ground, holding him up,
yes,
it would be his chest. So I think we kind of have to, even though we can't physically see the arm, I think we could take a reasonable inference here that he's being held up by his hands or something's on the floor, which I don't believe there is, but his hands or his forearms are holding him up so he can be in that position, or else his chest would be on the floor. Does that make sense?
Again, I don't know, but I'm just saying I can't tell if it is actually fully secured or not. That's a different question.
Well, being fully secured, but I'm saying the argument is that he was reaching for a gun, and I'm saying in this particular instance, from this side, I don't think we can see that, and the gun is on this side. So if he's reaching for the gun, he would be reaching for it on this side. I don't see his hand. Doesn't look like he's reaching for a gun. And at this point, the other guy is taking a gun from all the way back here. So where's his arm at? His arm is not here. His arm has to be somewhere around here.
I can't tell.
Well, you can tell his arm's not here, right? He's got two arms. The other arm has to be.
No, I understand that. I understand that.
Yeah. And the gun
is that an elbow under the hand? Yeah, I don't. Again, this is not or is that his waist? Oh, he's on his knees.
Yeah.
Or is that okay, so he's on his knees. I can have my torso up and my hands up on my knees. I mean, I'm not the greatest athlete in the world, but that is possible.
Yeah.
So
and that's why. So
hold on. So the argument that he's holding himself up with his hand, we don't know for sure either.
All right. So just so we can go back, just so we can look it up. First, the officer that's searching him pulls up his leg. Right? They're pulling up his leg for him to fall forward. That's one of the tactics. Pull up the back of the leg. That's what he's doing first. So now fall forward. Now he's searching. The other officer's on him. Now I think he gets into that squat position where he's pulling himself up. But here, when you go, you can see they push him back down. And I think at this point, unless he's like this and he's just leaning forward, I don't know. I think the most reasonable assumption is he's not reaching for the gun, because I think that's the most important part of this. Is he reaching for the gun? And I don't think.
Well, not only his gun, but also an officer's gun, because the argument has been made that he could be reaching for the agent's gun as well. I'm not saying this. I'm trying to address every argument I can think of at the time and give the fairest possible thing as we go.
He's armed. Maybe he is reaching for the officer's gun. I have not even seen. Matter of fact, they haven't even said that he was reaching for the officer's gun.
I have seen that multiple places.
So. Oh, from the
on X and everything else, because a lot
I'm
of
not
people.
Talking about random. I'm talking about like the news media and even the Trump administration. Nobody said that he was reaching for their gun. They're saying that he attacked them with his gun and all that stuff. Nobody. Like none of the official accounts from even the Trump administration said that he was reaching for any of their guns. So if somebody online may be saying that, but I don't know if I can't see that here. I would suspect that's what Christy Nolan would have said. Well, he reached for the officer's gun, so that would make it even easier. No. Again,
I'm just throwing out whatever I've heard. Like I threw out Rittenhouse. Nobody compared it to Rittenhouse with the administration or anything else or the news media. Yes. I just am throwing out what I hear. I'm trying to preempt comments, etc. and answer questions as they go. We're testing every possible theory.
Do we know if it was a?
I believe it is. Yes.
Yes. Those are truly known to go off without trigger pulls, DHS. But again, this is why there needs to be an investigation to figure out what happened. Because
that'll be easy. That'll be easy. Ballistics. Was there a round fired in that gun? I mean, yes or no. That can very quickly let us know if it in fact did go off or not.
And the person holding it would know too, right? You'd question them. And with that that's why I think you definitely need an investigation here. What happened? How did this is not
for
clean.
Sure.
This is very dirty. So yeah, you definitely need an investigation here. But great point though. Minnesota law requires you to carry ID and your CC. So what does that matter? That
I assume he did, because the police chief said he was a lawfully carrying person. So I'm just assuming he had ID on him. And he had a permit on him. That would be.
He was jaywalking. He was jaywalking too, right? So yeah, he's jaywalking too. So,
but to be fair,
he should be shot. I don't get a lawfully permitted person, even if he wasn't carrying his CC permit, right? Even let's say matter of fact, I'll even say the gun was illegal. That still doesn't give you license to just kill somebody because they're carrying a gun. There has to be something more to it.
Okay, so the
Does that make
chat's
sense?
saying that he had no ID on him.
So
Okay,
So
so
what?
he could have a misdemeanor, I guess. Or,
okay, yeah, charge him with the misdemeanor, but summary execution now. It doesn't
well,
work.
I wouldn't go there either, Nate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
not-
It doesn't work.
But,
It doesn't
I
work.
wouldn't call this a summary execution.
No, but
the
I'm
same
saying-
way I said come on, let's
No,
not go-
but yeah, I'm throwing out the extreme opposite example. Yes,
Right.
misdemeanor. Yes, summary execution. I don't think it's either. I think
No.
I think this is a complex situation. I think just because he didn't have his ID doesn't give you an excuse to shoot. It's very clear. It depends on the.
Well, how would they know until they
question.
had the opportunity to? This is a weird.
Yeah, and you're impugning knowledge too. Like they knew he was carrying a gun illegally. They knew that he didn't have his ID. This is it's I understand people want this to be a clean shoot, but we got to work with the facts that we actually do have. This is another angle from at Cedarfield within the car. We saw that angle. We just saw that angle. If I remember correctly, the safety there is known to random. Yes, we said that. I've seen it on the video, and this is why we were saying that there needs to be an investigation to see where that first shot came from. If it came from the person removing, because that would make a lot of sense, right? The first shot happens, people think it's the suspect, and then they fire at the suspect. So that turns this into a horrible mistake, but it doesn't turn it into a murder. If you understand what I mean. If that happens in that sequence where you have some accidental misfire and the officers think it's the suspect, then we're talking about a mistake. We're talking about civil liability. Civilly, the cop is gone, right? Because it's a horrible mistake. But then that really removes us from the murder piece of it, because you have this, the officers would be reasonable in assuming that someone who's armed, someone who they know is armed, they hear a gunshot, they believe it's coming from the suspect.
And they hear gun,
Would you
gun,
agree with
gun.
that? Yeah, and they hear gun, gun, gun. I think then you're talking about this not being criminal, but more civil liability. What do you say, Eric?
Yes, but I'm still not going to rule out the
criminal
civil to criminal yet. I'm just saying that would make it easier. But it is, I think, muddy would be a good term rather than dirty. It's a muddy situation. It's not clear.
Thank you, Eric and Nate, for your thoughtful, well-reasoned presentation. Facts.
FAFO.
FAFO for dummies. Whether it was good, shoot, not legally. If you impede the operation and resist, expect to be deleted. Possibly,
Even
but
that
again,
is a
it all
question
depends.
in this particular one. I mean, he is putting himself, if I'm going to be reasonable here, going into a situation, period, is putting you at a risk, to a degree. Now, that doesn't mean you deserve something, but you are at a greater risk. If he's standing there holding a sign saying, F you, you suck, da, 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 then absolutely. But this guy is again, I think it's muddy because he didn't seem to be just outright attacking the officers as claimed. Some could claim he was trying to assist the woman who was pushed down. Rightly or wrongly, that's not quite the same as what is being claimed of, just attacking officers.
Yeah, we can look at it again. Here's at the beginning. They're blowing whistles. They're in the street,
Which is obnoxious, by the way.
Yeah, this is all whatever. They're blocking traffic. Now the officers don't have to engage them at all. They're not at the car. They're yelling at the officers, right? They're yelling. They're not blocking the officers at all, right? Do you see any blocking here? And this officer is now going to confront them across the street.
Right.
So right, they're filming. They're not blocking.
Well, I don't know that. That looks like a double parked car. I don't think that car is in a parking place. I can't tell
law
for sure.
enforcement car, the black car right here, right?
Yeah, it seems like it might be actually double parked or out. But let's go back up and see if because that it is it's like.
So why? All right, so let's say it's double. So the car is double parked.
Right, so it is blocking.
the-
Technically, any traffic behind it would be stopped because there is a car stopped there. I don't know why.
All right. So, but I'm trying to say the protesters aren't blocking the police, though. Is that what you're saying? Because the police are blocking. They're double parked, but
Is that the
they're gonna-
police vehicle that's there?
That's he's getting out the car. He's getting out the cop is getting out.
Okay. Well then, okay.
Yeah, right. Look, the cop gets out the car.
Well, I can barely tell that's a cop. It's a little
I'm
tiny,
sorry.
muddy
It's tidy,
figure.
It's a cop getting out the car. You see, doors open. He's about to get in the car.
Okay.
Then he's
All right. Now let me see. Got the car. Yeah, I can't tell if there's somebody in front or not. But
it doesn't seem like anybody's in front. Well, the three people that they're about to engage with are not in front of the car at all. Right?
Okay.
They're not blocking them. They're just
they're in the middle of the street.
Right, they're in the middle of the street. They're not blocking. They can go. They can do whatever they want. Right. So that's where we're at with this.
Which is technically, you're not supposed to be standing in the middle of the street, but
Right.
okay, again, jaywalking, whatever. That's not necessarily that.
They're
And
jaywalking.
and that would be a local law enforcement citation, probably.
When the border patrol start arresting people walking in the middle of the street, yeah, I don't know. And maybe if they were staying in front of the car, I would make the argument they're impeding federal law enforcement duties directly. But standing on the side and blowing a whistle, I think it'd be a stretch to say that they're impeding their law enforcement operations by standing in the middle of the street, yelling at them. It's like,
Go.
Camera pans away. There's our guy.
Right.
Now, the cop, he says, do not push them. So I don't see if the cop pushed her or not, but essentially it seems like they have a push.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Why do you drop the camera? That drives me crazy. I feel like there's real things going on, and we're looking at a snowbank, and that's very frustrating.
Now,
there any other angle that shows the entire encounter, the preceding bit like this? Because that's maddening.
Yeah, I know. I didn't see it, but if I can find one, I will. But now, this cop, and let's just be clear, the cop here, I'm gonna go back. The cop after, so there's something, whatever happens, right? Whatever happens,
okay,
whatever.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Okay,
now stopped. Why is this cop physically engaging with these people?
Well, who is holding the person on the right? You said that was our guy.
That's our guy. That's the woman. The cop now, from what it looks like, the cop has pushed the woman out of the street, and he now has gone to her rescue, and he's now holding her up, walking out the street, mind you. So
no, I know, but it looked like somebody was she was on the ground. Now she's up. Go ahead and hit play. I just want to see what's going on.
But I'm saying they're moving out of the street right now, right? They're moving out of the street. So I don't know why these officers are engaging them, but they're
let's not speculate. I just want to see what's.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, stop. That is not the woman who was shoved. He had his arm around. No. The woman that's shoved, we just watched happen.
Yeah.
So there was something that happened while the damn camera was down, Nate, because he managed to get all the way over. He's got his arm around somebody. I don't know why he has his arm around somebody.
But that's what I'm trying to say. At this point, everything is going good, right? And watch, he's going to say, hey. And if you see her and she's in like this straddle position, the cop is now walking toward her. And then right before they get into whatever they do, the camera goes down because I think the person's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
But what I'm saying is there's a lot of separation between him and the cop and that female. And then suddenly the camera comes back up and then they're over here. And that bothers me.
All right, so now the cop is closer. He's now got his hand over this woman, and they're walking to the sidewalk. So let's just say the cop didn't push her, but now they're complying, right? They're moving toward the sidewalk. They're getting out of the street. Is that fair to say? They're literally walking.
I guess that's what's happening.
And now the other person is walking also out of the street. And now what's it now? Are they complying? Get out the street. They're seeing the.
Well, is she walking out the street or is she walking toward the officer? I don't know. Because the direction.
See.
Yeah, and she's facing the officer.
So she walked. Yeah. She was walking away toward the street, and then that's when eventually her and the officer get into it again. Right. So she's walking. Now she said something to the officer. So yeah. And then he now goes and plays Captain Saver and then tries to put himself between her and the officer. And that's when everything goes to hell. Now they're out of the street. So what? Now I would say this now. Whenever an officer sprays you with pepper spray, you're essentially under arrest because they have to decapitate you and all that stuff. You've been sprayed with pepper spray. So I'm assuming because now they've been sprayed with pepper spray, they now are going to place them under arrest because now you got to take care of them. You got to, decontaminate them and all that type of stuff. All Leos know this. So you've pepper sprayed them. You can't just walk away. You have to now do the business. And now you're spraying them again. So that's why I believe everybody now comes and says we're going to take them because they've been pepper sprayed. And then we have the other things happen.
God, I want that other angle. Longer. No.
This one. Oh,
well, that's been up there for the whole time.
Nate, the guy shot his mag.
Has a mag in his left hand as he raises up.
It's clear on close up, slowed down. Of course, thinking the second weapon possible. It's possible. But we're talking about. Is it a
mag in his left hand or is it his phone? Because he moved his phone from one hand to another at least one point, it appeared.
Well, Crazy. I hope you're on Twitter. If you're on Twitter,
Crazy Yoda is our LEO in the audience.
Yeah, well, if you have that, I'd like to see it because I'm just going to say it. I don't believe you until I see it. The mag is something different. If he has a mag in his hand, okay, but I need to see that. Not to say you're not being truthful, but I need to see clear evidence of that. Then my analysis could change. Arms under control. He reached for the officer's gun. Again, I would have to see that. There's no evidence of that. I just don't see it.
There's no evidence either way. Yeah, that's my problem.
That's true. Yes, but I would say if you're making a positive claim, you have to kind of show that.
Look out on your X account while you're here. Right. Yoda will send it. You said.
All right, and so I'm definitely looking. Just tag me, and you should be the first thing to come up.
Or DM.
DM. Well, I think I might have to. Yeah, you can DM me or just send it. Yeah, I'm looking on X now. So if anybody has anything they want to show me, let me
and if anybody has another angle of video that shows the entire encounter
from the other side,
covers that bit with the snow bank, please share that because I really want to know what happened there. There is a lot of distance that was closed in that period of time, and I'd just love to see what actually occurred.
I'm looking to see. I don't know what this. Yeah. Trying to see notifications. I'm just waiting. Okay, Brett. Nate the Lawyer, YouTube. Okay, so they sent me this video from the person inside the vehicle. I'm going to play this.
That could be interesting.
That's going to be a different angle. Thank you so much.
That's great.
Brett. I'm going to pull this here so we can see it
let's
together.
Move the super chat off so we can.
After we can see this together. All right, let's look at this. And thank you so much for bringing this video to our attention. Share the screen instead. Here we go. So this is the person inside the white car.
Now this is great. I want to. Okay.
So here we go. But it doesn't answer your question because it starts with the initial push.
Whoa!
God,
she has the mask on, the gas mask.
She does, sure. Go back because our guy's already down on the ground on the left.
Say it again?
Our guy's already down. This looks like the female. So I want to go back to him because we're supposed to see him holding a mag.
So this is the clip they gave us from the person in the car. You see he's holding a mag.
Here we go. No, go back to where he.
I'm trying to go back.
You're going forward, not backward.
Yeah, it's backward.
Okay. Hold on. Stop. First, I want to identify our guy, Alex.
All right, so our guy is on the floor. So here's our guy right here with the hat.
Alex.
Now he goes to the floor now. So he's out of view from this point on.
Right. And so I want to see all points he's in view to see if he has something in his hand.
He's here. He falls down again.
But go back before. We saw him before this point, right?
Yeah, this is him before this point.
Whoa, what's that? Okay. That's what I think is time. I want, what is back up? What is in his hand? There's something there. I don't know what, but there's something.
I don't see anything.
Whoop, there. Oh, back. back. You're going forward. Back.
This is going
Oh,
back. This is backwards. This is backwards. They're moving backwards. You're saying go back. So you want me to go forward.
okay, forward.
This is moving
Whoa,
forward as slow
one.
motion.
Go.
And you said there's something in his hand.
It looked like it. I don't know if it's hit. Right there. Go back. There.
Yeah.
What is that?
I see 2 fingers. I see her head because don't forget he's grabbing the
Right.
woman
I
too.
just want to see because it's a weird shape and it could be an anomaly. I'm just saying that I want to see what that is.
That's unconclusive to me because he is grabbing the woman too. So maybe he's grabbing, and he did have a phone in his hand. So
Right. Somebody's saying I think phone. Somebody else said the phone dropped a while ago. I don't know, but I want to. That might be what he's talking about when he said the mag.
I don't know if that's what he's talking about. Let me go back to X to make sure. If that's what he's talking about, that's just too inconclusive. It's that. I need to see something better than that. But let me go back and see because maybe somebody has given us something better. So I want to make sure to give it the full thing. Okay. Here's someone else put up.
Now let's actually talk about.
Let me see if this video has this one going forward.
You don't have it on the screen right now. So.
All right, I'm going. Yeah, sorry. Put it on the screen now. Trying to switch to this.
Somebody's saying it's her hood.
Yeah. All right. So I'm looking. So we're going slow. This is from this angle.
Him down and detaining him.
But this is not going to help us because we were trying to see from the other angle, and I don't think he has the other angle. And I'm trying to see what's in his hand.
So you see immediately
he's got his hand up.
The moment just runs up and shoves her to him, and then he's trying to shield her from being pepper sprayed. Hard to tell though. And again, the ICE agent continues to mace them both. Hard to tell what's happening here. I can't tell if he's trying to shield her or what's happening, but you can see all of these ICE agents are now rushing.
Don't care about them. Okay.
So now they're attempting to detain.
Yeah, so he's holding her hood.
Him, she's still on the ground. And looks like she's trying to be detained as well. And then you have all the ICE officers on top of him.
Yeah, I don't see unless I don't see people have been sending me all these. I don't see the mag clip. I'll do one more of these. Nope. I don't see anything with a magazine. I'm sorry, people. If that's the best you got, I just don't think that's it. If that's the best there is, sorry. What do you say, Eric?
I can't really tell. There's something. It looked like there could be something there, but I don't know what. If it was her hood, if it was the phone, if it was, yeah, I don't know if it was a glove with a finger. I can't quite tell. And yes, I agree. Elfpire Eva, this definitely is challenging party bias, and unfortunately, it's going to go through the lens of party bias. It seems before people want to look at it. And Nate and I are trying our best to just look at this. I know, speaking for myself, I guess I am trying to just look at it and absorb every possible detail in both directions, because I can tell you right now that most of my audience, from what I've seen, probably is very much in favor of law enforcement in this particular situation. And if I come down, it's going to be very uncomfortable for me, but that's why Nate and I do it. And we're not here to necessarily make friends, even though we love you and want you to watch. It's harder to go against what your audience wants and be truthful than to just go along all the time.
Oh yeah.
And that can be very, very uncomfortable. I'll just say right now.
It is. Defending ICE murderers is coward pig behavior. Who's defending the ICE murderers? And
What a sweet message. Thank you.
I would even say at least get it right. This is Border Patrol. This is even ICE. But
there you go.
It is what it is. Note, in here in Illinois, Border Patrol arrested legal CCA holders without shooting them over by Broadview in similar circumstances. This is not normal. Yeah, I would suspect just having a gun doesn't make you automatically a deadly threat. That's the way you use it. Upper arm grab does not immobilize lower arm. Agreed. That
Mhm.
makes sense. This all started over a woman. Females shouldn't be in law enforcement. Great show, guys. I don't know about that because this is what it is. This is a bad shoot, like Ashley Babbitt. Bad training. Thought Ashley Babbitt was a good shoot, but I understand what you're saying here. The scene is very chaotic. The cops only have seconds to react. Yes,
I agree with
should
that.
never have taken out the
100% is
gun
chaotic.
in a riot and threaten other law enforcement officers. Yeah, and that's what I think a lot of people are missing, that crossfire action. I'm on one side. You got officers all around and you're firing. It's like, ricochet could kill somebody.
Now, this is the part I think a lot of people, he should have never taken a gun. A person with a concealed carry on the back of them kind of has this on them all the time. And it's not necessarily like, oh, wait, let me disarm myself while I walk into a situation. That is, I don't think it's completely, fair.
This is where I think the Kyle Rittenhouse analogy works. Kyle Rittenhouse was at a riot with a legal gun.
Mm.
He was at a riot with a legal gun. So that makes him a murderer. It's like having a lawful gun doesn't automatic. Now it does heighten awareness and heighten sense. It depends on the
and
way
it is adding risk to you.
Yes, but
obviously it's adding a risk because
but the fact that you come to a riot with a gun doesn't automatically mean you're guilty, because if that's the case, then Kyle Rittenhouse would be guilty. You aren't lawfully carrying if you're fighting police. Well, I don't know if they went there to fight police because that's enduring intent. I would fully expect to get shot if I were armed and fought police. Yes, but you would have to first say that he intended to go there, intended to fight police. There are a lot of assumptions within this. Just carrying a gun to a riot. Kyle Rittenhouse carried a gun to a riot. That doesn't mean, he fully expected to get shot, right? It's like, and this is the way I think we want it to be one way, but then in another situation, we want it to be the other way. And so we'll argue contradictory statements here, right? It's cool for him to carry the gun. And that was our disagreement. It was legal. Kyle Rittenhouse's gun was legal. Now, in this case, the guy's gun is legal, but that's a problem. No, people. We got to have some consistency with not only our values, our morals, but also our logic. And I think being logically consistent in all these stories, if you lawfully and legally are carrying your gun, unless it says you can't carry a gun to a protest, but I don't think that's the law there. What do you say, Eric? I'm sorry.
Again, that's what I was saying. People who have a concealed carry the gun everywhere, unless it's like they enter a building where it's explicitly there's a sign, do not cross this, like a courthouse.
Yeah,
you walk up to the courthouse. Oh shit! Okay, I better go back out to my car, put it in the car, or whatever. This isn't necessarily that. Also, you aren't lawfully carrying if you're fighting police. Well, again, then you will prosecute them later. That doesn't mean you shoot them. So I don't know it's kind of muddying the waters a bit.
So this says he means he wasn't lawfully carrying, not really relevant to the case, but it corrects their messaging. Well, again, so let's say, I'll even give you the fact he wasn't lawfully carrying, even though he had a permit and all this other stuff. We can fight the lawful carry all we want, but I don't think it changes anything about it. I'll even say, let's say the gun was illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how does that change anything? YouTube vowed because the cops didn't know he had a legal or illegal gun, and they took it from him. So YouTube Valhalla, weapons instructor review.
That's irrelevant. A weapons instructor doesn't know shit about necessarily police procedure. They teach you how to fire, care for a weapon, and follow basic procedures of weapons, but they're not necessarily a law enforcement trained individual or a lawyer.
With respect, zero chill. I like that. With respect, you didn't show the angle because you can't see that he didn't touch the officer from that angle.
Well, that's not really very respectful. When you say that, you're impugning intentions on people, saying you didn't show it because you can see, then that's saying, oh, we know that there's something that's out there and we're deliberately hiding it. That's not true.
We literally have said Text it to us. Send it to me on Twitter. I've pulled up multiple
God.
angles that people have shown. I've even pulled up other people's videos, and now it's like you don't show the angle. Send it to me. I'll show the angle. Just send it to us. You think there's something we missing? Send it to us. Like literally, we're at this point where we're saying,
Give us what we can. And if we don't show an angle, there's something there, then just tell us that. But to make this accusation is kind of, I don't think it's very reasonable or fair to make a claim we're trying to hide something. That's not the case at all.
even when we're bending over backwards to find out, like somebody says, you got this wrong, you don't have this angle, show it to us. I'm playing it. I'm looking for it, but it's just getting crazy here. I understand people they want to say this was justified because he had a gun. No, wrong answer. I understand that, but we're not shills, right? It's just we've been looking at it for what it is. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. But I don't know who's playing the game. The stupid game, though. The officers were across the street. They weren't blocking the officers. The officers came and confronted them. They came and pepper sprayed them. They were walking out the street, matter of fact. It was before they got pepper sprayed, before she got pushed. So, who is playing a stupid game here? I just don't know. If the officers seem to have facilitated this. And
I have not seen that.
Is moving his hand toward his holster, which I believe is right before the shots. Well, we just looked at before.
When you say his holster, do you mean his holster as Alex's holster? Do you mean the law enforcement officer's holster? Whose holster? Because I can't quite see where his hand is going to his own holster, but we can go back into it and look specifically for that. Sure.
I would again, if people have these clips, like people say, I have the video, there's an angle, right? Put the angle up. I'm like, tweet it to me. I'm like, we'll put the angle up on the screen. But don't do this, people. Don't feed us bullshit. Because we are looking for the truth. If you have the angle, tweet it to me. Send it to me. We've been literally playing them, right?
I think they DM'd you another one.
Right, I'm looking for it right now.
See if there's
but I'm looking for a notification. So I got notifications on. I got thank goodness. Was hoping for. Got this. Got Kyle Rittenhouse. I have this angle. Somebody just sent me 4 minutes ago, but this is the one we already seen. And this looks like this is the one we've already seen. But I'll play this anyway because even though this is the one we already, just so people can see, we are not hiding anything because for some reason we're hiding it. So I'm gonna put this on screen so we can see. We've already seen this many times. This is the one I played. So let me go back. This is the one we played. The one that's improved.
Honestly.
All right. This one is clearer because you could see something here that I didn't see before. These are his foot, and this looks like an elbow. So if you look, go moving, you see the hand. An elbow here, right here. So
I can't tell that's an elbow.
I'll zoom in, but when we move it, I'm gonna move it slowly. So he is right.
No, that's not an elbow. That's a knee of the other cop.
Well, hold on. Is this hair? What is this? So I'm moving it. Let me zoom. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so we can kind of see it because here's his feet, and here looks like his head. So I'm moving forward. Can't tell, but it looks like
that's a knee. On the right, that's a knee.
So this, what's this?
I think that's an officer. I think that's an officer knee.
That looks like a hand to me.
No, that's hold on, stop. That other thing you were pointing at is the foot of the officer in the back.
I'm pulling back.
So, see the toe? Follow the feet of the officer in the back, and you'll see.
Right, so let's go back. All right, so let me do this.
That's his foot. Yeah.
Let me pull this down.
And take the super chat down because it's hard to. It distracts from.
Hard to look at it. Hold on. No, I think that's his hand, bro. Let me pull this. All right, so I'm gonna pull.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Go back and then follow and watch the feet of the officer in the back on the right.
So here we are, officer in the back and the right. So we're looking, slow one. So now here's his leg, and he's laying down.
I don't care about the left. Just focus on the feet of the officer on the right to see if we can.
So here's the officer on the right. Here's both his feet. Both his feet.
There we go. Now he's stepping up, and now you can see the left foot and the right foot.
Yeah. So his right foot, but now this little piece
that's his left foot.
This is not a foot. His left foot's here. Right foot's here. These are his feet. This
I
right
can't tell what that is.
Yeah, I think that's the guy's arm. Look, because this is the guy's body. This is his arm. He's behind this officer, and you could see during the struggle him moving, and you can see you can see his thumb and like his finger like this.
So
But again,
which arm is it, left or right?
Well, if it's like this, it'd have to be the right arm because it would be
Which means that the guy here has no control over it. It's completely away from him. No, I'm just saying because
look at the guy right here. He's pulling something off the guy. He's pulling something.
right. But remember,
this
you said
guy-
that he was hold on. You said that the guy closest to us is holding his right arm, and the guy on the other side was holding his left arm. So if
Yeah, but
that's his right arm, this guy's not holding it at all.
Hold on. Well, just to be clear, he wasn't holding it from the beginning of the thing all the way through, right? There were points where, so yes, at this particular point in time, he was not holding his arm. Later
Right.
on, I'm saying he's holding his arm, and let's play it forward. So later on here, I'm saying about here, that's when he's starting to try to get control of his arm, and that's where he's holding his arm. That's what I'm saying. So you're right. Back here at the beginning, he's not holding his arm. He's not holding his arm, but as it moves forward, I think he does get control of his arm, and he's trying to hold his arm. Now, does he have full control or not control of all? Possibly, yes. But yes, at a point, he doesn't have control, and at a point, it looks like he's going for the arm. Now, what is this guy hitting? This guy's hitting something.
Whoa, that was another gun. Hold on. Oh,
Yeah,
what was
see this right here? That's a hand, bro.
No, but go up. What's this gun in this guy's hand? It looked like the guy on the right. I swear he had a gun coming up.
Yeah, but just to be clear, that's a hand, right? This is a hand.
Well, it's not clear, no, but
This right here is a hand.
it could be. I can't tell what it is.
All right, so let's play it.
See,
That's a hand.
whoa! What did he just pick up off the ground? Go
Who?
back.
The guy? Or
Yeah, the guy on the right picked something up off the ground. Look. See, go back a little more.
Uh-huh.
Boom. What is that? What did he pick up?
Well,
Look at his hand. He's got something in his hand.
But he's hitting him with it. Watch. He
Okay.
hit him, hit.
Right.
So
What's he hitting him with? What the hell is that? I'm asking you.
No,
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
a-
I don't know. I don't know.
because it's something I just saw here. It's weird.
And then he puts it back, like he pulls it up. But then the guy, his arm and hand, you can see. It's clear as day. You can see it.
Somebody's saying mace container. Okay, maybe.
His hand is out. So I think this undoubtedly shows his hands are like this. His hand is even moving in front. So yes, he's down. So people are saying he's reaching for something. It's impossible. If I think it's clear. If you just look at this one spot, you can see it's his hand for sure. Yeah, his hand. It's his hand and the wrist. So he's not reaching for anything with his right hand, for at least. I'm saying for his right hand, he's not reaching for anything. And the gun is on his right side. Now people are saying he's reaching for the officer's gun. That's just not there. That's just not there. From what I'm seeing. I wish I might have to download. I'll download this and so we can blow it up and we can see it for sure. But yeah, it for sure seems like, oh, here it is. I can do it.
Yeah, use Downey and it'll take it right down.
Yeah, I did. So here it is. And let me rewind it back a little bit. Zoomed in. Is that a hand or no?
Could be. Keep it, let keep moving so I can tell
sure.
by the movements.
Let's move it back and go forward. He's getting hit. Is that a hand? Yes. And then moves the hand back. Yeah. It's a hand.
Oh, you know what though? I don't know if it's his hand or if it's the officer's hand on the other side either.
Yeah, sure. that's his hand. That's for sure his hand. It's the way it is, thumb up, the officer. Yeah, it's his hand. And look, he even pulls it back. And the positioning of the body, the officer standing up, yeah, it's his hand. He pops out and pops in. Now maybe he's reaching for something. I don't know, but that's definitely his hand. So he is not in a position where his hands are at this moment. He's not in a position he's not grabbing at an officer's gun. He's not grabbing for his own gun. And that's only one of his hands, to be fair, because the other hand could be grabbing for something. But that's his hand. He's on the floor, and they're trying to subdue him.
So keep going.
Oh, play it. Oh, let me play. I'll play it out.
Now keep going. Slow motion. Just keep it going. I just want to see what happens from here. Because it doesn't appear the guy on his right ever had control over his arm at any point. If his hand is there. Because I'm starting to see the other guy drawing. So boom. Yeah, no. So the guy on the right, closest to us, appears never had control over his arm.
That's correct. He never had control. Because
that's what was something I argued about earlier.
The arm is on the floor. You're right. The arm is on the floor. So the arm is on the floor. He doesn't have control of the arm. The other guy's banging him. and now he's trying to go, and now he's trying to grab the arm. That's why the arm comes back, because as you can see, he switches from trying to grab his belt to try to go for the arm. And now his arm is back, and now this when all of the craziness happens.
Right.
So at first he didn't have control of the arm. Then he does get control of the arm. That's when the arm comes back. And now they all are one
I don't know
side.
if he ever had control even when it went back.
Oh, maybe he didn't have control, but he was going for that arm. He was definitely going for that arm.
Oh, I'm sure the cop is trying to reach for the arm.
Yeah. Let me see.
And everybody's saying it is the mace can, which makes sense. You know,
Which
whatever
makes
the
sense.
guy was hitting him with. Okay. I don't know if he
Alright.
hit people with that, but anyway, whatever.
with the mace can.
It appears that's what he was doing. I mean, if you look at it, that's why I said, "What the hell is in his hand?" And he was smacking.
It was the
him
mace
with
can. He's smacking him with it. Yeah, trying to gain that control. Okay, I don't know the ICE policy of begging protests, but you use what you got. Though, what bothers me is that people videoing will turn the camera away so we can't see what the protesters are doing before the officers react. Well, we kind of saw it though. They were in the street. They were screaming. They were behind the car. They were FUI, blah 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 blah. So I don't know. Hold on, I want to make sure I got place to begin with. Did we read this one? Yes. All right. Yes, that's the one we just read. Thank you for becoming a member. This one we read.
Yeah, let me clear out the holy cow, dude. Okay,
What?
we've got 54 super chats. We've got to go through.
No.
This is insane.
People, no. This is
I know.
and please, people, we're extremely glad that you even just came to argue this out with us, because
yeah,
we
yeah.
don't know. We don't know. And as you can see, we're looking at every angle. Find us an angle. You say, and again, if you want to tell us we're missing an angle, tweet it to me and say, "Hey, Nate, check Twitter. You know, my name is blah blah blah, and here's an angle that I want you to look at," and we'll look at it, right?
Right. I'm just trying to clear so I can keep track of what's new and what's old, because there's so many. Wow. And thank you, everyone. It's very generous of you. Seriously.
Yes. It bothers me that people videoing. Yes, because and again, I think you're right. I think people are trying to deceptively not let us see everything.
Well, that's what I was talking about, the snowbank. It's like, turned down. And by the way, even in the car, it went down. It was like, what the hell's happening now? Why aren't you holding it? You're perfectly on target here, but no, all of a sudden, you lose it. What?
All right, Crazy Yoda said he sits it on my show announcement post. I'm looking for a notification. So I'm going to go back. Now you're going to make me do more. So I'm going to that show announcement post. I want to make sure I get it. Okay. Got 10 here. I'm Brett. I'm looking for them. So all of these we have seen before. So I just want to make sure, and I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Oh, the super chats, or because I'm going.
No, this guy, he just sent the super chat, so he sent it. So I'm showing you. This is the show announcement, right? Taking questions, and then here is the. So this we just saw from the inside, right? So we saw this. Then we have some other thing. Then we see this. One agent calls gun. Agent 2 upholsters weapon, disarms suspect, holster. We saw this video, right? We see them hitting it. We see all that. So this is a video we saw, and then I'm moving forward. This untrained ICE officer panics. So this is I'm not sure. We saw this video, right? We looked through this video. So just so we clear, looking through everything, right? So I'm just, if you guys, if again, my mind can be changed. It just can, right? It can. My mind can be changed. Just so you don't have to. Let me end this so I can do this again. My mind can be changed for sure. So if you do have a video that you think we should look.
Bye. Okay, it is just me.
Yeah.
What?
That was me.
Oh,
So,
okay.
If any of you have videos in this that you guys want us to see, then yes, just tweet them to me. Just tag me, and I'll pull them up. Because again, we're not afraid of being wrong. We are not afraid of being wrong. So please, and thank you for those who have sent the videos. I really appreciate it.
And obviously, thank you very much for the super chats and support on this.
can you explain Tennessee v. Gardner and why it's not a good idea to carry firearms at a protest? Black Panthers January 6 protesters. All right, Tennessee v. Gardner. Tennessee v. Gardner was a case. So Tennessee v. Gardner is the case where it stands for the proposition of you can't shoot fleeing felons in the back. Here it is. Since you've asked, again, I'll show, because this is a show and tell, and I'm always ready to show and tell.
And we're not hiding the ball.
No. Especially if you ask me a legal question. This is what we do, baby. This is what we do. All right, so here we go. All right, share that. Here we go. We're going to do Graham v. Con. So this is how the law is, and I'll show you. So here are the two cases that we're talking about. Thank you for the super chat. Tennessee v. Gardner versus Graham v. Conner. This is how law enforcement is judged. And these two cases go like this. Tennessee v. Gardner, 1985. Cops encounter a burglary, see the felony, guy jumps out the house, runs, tries to jump over a fence, cop shoots him in the back. Tennessee law says you can shoot fleeing felons in the back. If you witness the felony shoot, you can kill them. It's potentially summary executions. Supreme Court said no. You need a serious threat. If the person who is running is a serious threat to, let's say, another officer or someone else, then you can use deadly force. But it is unreasonable to use deadly force for somebody just running away, even if they committed a felony. That's what Tennessee v. Gardner and the Justice Department literally listed as the fleeing felon rule. That's Tennessee v. Gardner. So if you're running away, you can't be executed by the cops just because you committed a felony. It has to be reasonable. So hopefully that explains Tennessee v. Gardner. Oops.
All right.
So,
by the way, when you guys are sending the DMs, you can also send it to me. I probably have
Eric.
less traffic than Nate does too, so we both can look just in case. I don't know if X is having problems. A lot of people are saying, I sent this, and I'm like, I don't, I don't
okay.
see.
Well, I'm looking again. I'm going back and forth, but or tag Eric, which is fine. Somebody's saying, I'm just looking again.
And I won't fight you if you follow me on X, by the way. It's okay.
All right.
I won't tell.
Go to the officer. All right. So they said this one, and they're saying this shows something. So I'm going to put it on screen right now so we can all see it together again. So we don't have the whole Nate's trying to hide it. This one. So I'm going to this one, share this screen instead. Sharing the wrong screen. Let me see. All right. This is what I want to share. Stop sharing. Okay. Stop sharing. What am I? I'm sharing in two separate places. Oh, it's a bug for StreamYard. StreamYard had a little bug.
Oh, by the way, folks, while you were here and we're discussing this, we have 1,349 people watching, which is incredible. A lot of people. And this channel is just under 30,000. I took a look. So you have 1,341 people, and it's at 29,928 people subscribed. Did you know if you subscribed right now, you could take this channel literally today over 30,000 subscribers, which would mean a lot. We're trying to grow this channel, and we deeply, deeply appreciate it.
Okay, so this person sent me this, and this is the opposite view. The guy goes in, empty hand, he grabs the gun, pulls the gun away, and runs away.
You know what? I hate those little circles and gun in hand, and some of that is like because you're claiming things, but okay, whatever.
And you can see here from this angle, you can see when he's pulling the gun out. You definitely can see his arm. He's bracing up against his arm of the cops. And these cops are trying to get him. Yeah. And that's what he shot. Okay. So that was the one sent, and I don't think I have anything else from anybody. This angle, Department of Homeland Security, but that's not when anybody tagged me yet. So, all right. Nate the lawyer is another guy talking about it, but I'm just looking for the Nate the lawyer. Minneapolis police chief says there's an investigation ultimately proves that after
there definitely needs to be investigation.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Minneapolis police.
All right. So yeah. So again, we're doing our own analysis. So we'll go back to some of this stuff. Well, yeah, but so again, if send it to me or Eric, and Eric, if Eric has it, I'm assuming Eric will pull it up. This one has been sent. Eric and Nate the lawyer, you guys stop the video before the point where people are claiming he reaches for a weapon. Well, if this is the point he shot.
Okay, yeah, that was the one that somebody just said. So I can't even see what's going on in this picture.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
yeah, this is a bad.
I don't even see him. You know, it's like, well,
And you say
man.
he's reaching this. You guys keep stopping the video before the point where people are claiming he reaches for the weapon. This is the picture they are using.
All right, so go back to it and just play it through to his being shot. I mean, we're playing it up until the shooting.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so here we go. Back to this one. So we're gonna play it to the shooting. So this is where they get. He's reaching for this is the angle. See, his leg is up, his leg is back, and he's up. So I'm gonna this is this one. Except his head is this is blurry versus this one, which is not blurry.
Can you make that full screen, Nate? On the
Sure.
right?
Make it bigger.
Please. Thank you.
There it is.
Okay, so
we're comparing it to this picture. Wow.
Don't see why they're the same, but okay.
No, not where they're the same, but they're like this. This is the guy, right? This is the point. So I'm gonna just move it forward.
Okay.
And this is
here
this seems like this picture. No?
Go back. Click the other.
Oh, let me zoom in. Let me do the zoom in thing so we can see it. Let's look at the position of the leg, head, and knee, right? And let's go here to this other one. Head.
Okay, that is it now. Okay.
Right? That's the same picture.
So now go back to the one with detail.
And they say he's grabbing for a gun. So I'm gonna play this from here. And remember, he's already been shot. This is where he's been shot. So we're gonna.
Oh, he was shot now? Okay.
Yeah, he's shot. At this point, he's shot. So we'll go back. I'll go back. But I'm gonna stop it before you hear. So he's shot, right? That's this. So people are saying he's grabbing for a gun after he's shot. Now I'm gonna just inch it forward. Where is he grabbing for the gun?
Well,
maybe they're saying that's the grab for the gun because his arm is behind
him. I mean, maybe, but this is after he's shot, so it's kind of like
listen to the gunshot.
Boom. Okay, first shot. I mean,
yeah, in his hand. What's that in his hand? That looks like.
Well, it doesn't matter. The gun's not there. The other guy already took it away.
That looks like. Well, if we say he reached for the gun, he's got something in his hand, and that
his hand doesn't look like there's anything in it. Is there? Hold on.
All right, it's right here. If you look at that,
is there something there?
It looks like it could just be a ghost thing. Looks like there may be something. Oh, it could just be a bad angle.
Is that a shadow that lines up with his hand and then his hand's not? I can't.
Yeah, maybe that might be. Yeah.
Make it full screen, please.
Let me zoom it in more.
Oh, just the full screen to where
let me see
you can keep the scroll bar, and there you go. So you still have a scroll bar, and it's just easier.
We're not playing the sound because we're not playing the shots.
There is some. It looks like he could have something in his hand. I can't tell what that.
Well, we know it's not a gun because he's already got the gun's already gone. And does anything fall out of his hand when he falls to the ground? Trying to see if there's anything on the ground. I don't see anything on the ground except for this thing over here. And if it was something dangerous, I'm assuming the cops would have picked it up too. Yeah, there's nothing here. I don't think he had anything. There's nothing.
Well, he could have fallen on it.
That's true.
Where he is,
Let's see.
He
could have. So he falls down. The thing falls, and which way does he roll? He rolls.
Yeah, he rolls
the
on
opposite way.
Well,
he rolls the opposite way. If he rolls face down,
no, he is face down. Look, in the end, he's face down. Keep going.
All right, keep going.
Face down. There. But
face
see the
down?
stupid snowbank?
No, he's face up. You keep saying he's face down. He's face up. He's not face down.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't roll over it. If he'd have rolled over it, he'd be face down. He's face up. So he's falling, boom. If he rolls face down, he's covering it. If he rolls face up, it's going to be still
Okay.
it's going to be there. So he's face up here. He's rolling face up. So that thing, whatever he was supposedly in his hand, should be here, or maybe he's holding it. It falls over here. And then I'm moving forward, and then go to the last shot where he's on the floor. I see nothing here. I see this thing over here.
But the
But I don't see
problem
anything
too
here.
is that this is drawing potentially after he's already shot, not
Yes.
before. So it's a weird question, because that could explain the mag dump from others, but does that explain the first? Or anyway, I don't know.
So this person is sending me this same thing and says that's a gun, but it can't be a gun because his gun is gone. I think that's just a shadow. We just looked at it. This is another one. People are playing slow motion. They're saying, look at this spot. Okay. Again. I don't know. So people, thank you for sending us this stuff, but I don't see it. I don't see where he reached for a gun, especially the pictures that have been sent after he was shot. So if you're saying they shot him and then he reached for the gun, that doesn't really help the cops.
And people are saying you DM'd about the view inside the car. We did show the view from inside the car.
We showed the view from inside the car. Yeah, maybe they just came after that. All right, so here we go. We watched it. Can you explain to us regarding? I did that. Next one. My gut reaction. It was was ICE officers' miscommunication during disarming of Alex, which led to the bad shoot. Yes. Was Alex filming in the street when he approached him? He was filming. Also, crew CCW holders should know to comply and not resist. Yes, but I don't know if they give him a chance to comply, though. That may be an issue, too. It's kind of happened real fast. I sent you video to your DM. Okay. I'm at DM again. DM chat, looking for the DM.
Did you already put this one up?
Which
This is Walsh's and Fry's fault. I don't remember it.
No, I didn't put that one up. You
Okay.
can put it up. All right,
Well,
I got it.
So,
Yes.
okay. Thank you. And yes, I do think there was some bad language used by Fry, especially. And Waltz, the first day, he backed off a little bit, but Fry has been very combative with some of his statements, and I think inappropriate.
This is the video Crazy Yoda sent. I want to make sure we get it, and we're going to play it. And let's see, he said slow motion. Okay, so we got this officer. They both seem to be reaching for the firearm, and this guy sees the firearm. So they got three people looking at this firearm.
Sure. Okay, and he's the one who ultimately drew.
Okay, gun is gone now, right? This guy's drawing. He's looking right down at it. Okay, that's the first shot. The first shot seems to have hit him.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? He could be reaching back to be his bullet wound.
Yeah.
I mean, potentially, he could. I don't know for sure, but Nate, he could be doing the whole, oh shit, like like oh my god, like he was hit. I don't know. It's hard to tell on that, but that could be a.
Thank you so much. But you're right though. This could be seen as him reaching for something, but he's reaching after he's been shot twice.
Which is
So I don't know if that helps the officer's case.
Well, it helps other officers for sure when they did the mag dump.
Because
if they hear gun, and they see him moving, then I
am behind, but the initial contact was to get out of the way of the vehicle that was parked to move it. No, that's not what I saw. I didn't see that. Did you see that? The initial. Let's look at the initial. They were. So here's the initial thing again. Let's see it again. Here's the initial. These are the three. They're in the street. Mm-hmm. That's ICE, and they're blowing the whistles to say ICE is here. ICE is here. They're not blocking the vehicle. And the officer's actually about to jump in the vehicle before this thing happens. So I'll just play it. They approach the officer. They're just screaming and yelling. Now,
Mhm.
you get from this to someone getting shot, that's a huge leap that the government has to investigate. You got to investigate how we get to two people screaming at cops in the street to somebody being shot. And to matter of fact, to her being pushed down in pepper spray, like that's going to have to be explained. Now they're saying, get the F back. You can see it. That's the white car, the video we saw from inside the white car. That's the person.
Oh.
He says, hey, don't push it.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Now, at no point have I seen them block any vehicles. I didn't see them block the ICE officer getting into the vehicle. I didn't see any of that. The only engagement I saw from these three people were screaming and yelling in the middle of the street. They weren't blocking the car because the car could have left. They didn't stop the officer from getting to the car. The officer left out of the car and engaged them. Is that a correct version of events?
For the most part, except for looking at the damn snowbank, which there was period of time in there that something happened. They
Yes.
covered a good distance, and I just didn't see it, and that makes me crazy.
But even before that, could these officers were they blocking these officers from everything we've seen? No, I just don't see it. Now they could have been earlier before this video was shot, but I don't see any of that. I don't see any of that. I see they're behind. This officer jumps in the car and leaves. We don't have any issues. Right? They're not blocking the officers in. So, if that's what you're getting from this, I would just like to see. Maybe you have some video or something to show me that's true. But this doesn't seem to be accurate at all.
Have you shared this one yet? My gut reaction.
Oh yeah, we did.
Was it okay? Cool.
Go ahead, you read it again.
Well, I already cleared it out, dude.
Oh.
You gotta tell me because I can't keep up when you just pull them up randomly. I can't, that's why I always unstar as I go.
I'm sorry because I'm just running down the list because we had.
I understand, but it's like then
it's
I
difficult.
Keep looking over the same ones.
All right, so from now on, I'm going to unstar them after I read them. I am behind. Oh, I'm behind. But the initial contact was to get out the car of the way and the vehicle. Yeah, we just addressed this, and so I'm going to unstar this. No, we just see this. Kyle wasn't fighting cops. He was using his gun for protection against protesters. This guy threatened cops. No, he didn't. I don't see any threatening of the cops. I think this is very, very, very misleading. I just think this is misleading. I think your comment, respectfully, is misleading propaganda. Because I don't see him threatening cops with that gun. Maybe Eric can make
he wasn't threatening with the gun because the gun was holstered. You can't be threatening with a holstered gun, from what I see.
No, brother, didn't mean it, as in hiding stuff. It meant as you can see that he didn't touch which would be discussed. No disrespect. No disrespect, Zero. So we just we want there are a lot of people who don't want to see the evidence, right? We want to see it. If you can prove it to me and shut me up right now, I'll be the first to say, all right, yeah, I was wrong. So I'm just looking for it. It's common knowledge that CCW to comply as much as possible to put officers at ease. Even in traffic stuff. Yes, great point. That's a damn good point. You're right, and that they trained us that way too. Like even if you're a Leo, you should comply to the utmost because you do have the dangerous weapon, and it does make people nervous. So that's a very, very on point thing. Without the time of the video during the snowbank time, we were missing why officers engaged. Yes, she could have hit him. He could have hit her. We don't know why. So that's a very, very good point. And that's what Eric is saying. That's the point in the video that's making him crazy, because that would be important. Why the officers would engage. Was it what the officer pushed or were they pushed? When he stepped between the officer and the lady after the push, he was interfering. Yes, but no. Hold on. So just to break this down, I think you're incorrect with your series of events. So when we move forward, and again, I got to do this like this because it's full screen, but it's still gonna be like this. So I'm gonna move it forward. When the ladies are pushed, so the first lady he's in contact with before the snowbank thing is before this. It is the lady in the darker jacket. So this woman in the darker jacket. So I'm going to play it from here. See? We don't see what happens.
What the fuck is wrong
No.
with you?
So now the lady in a darker jacket, that's where the guy who's killed, he's comforting her. And the woman in the light colored jacket is the one that's pushed.
Again, a lot happened in that sequence
In that
that we
moment.
didn't
Yeah.
see.
So maybe I don't know. But so that's not accurate. He didn't push the woman that he engaged with first. He pushed the second woman.
Correct.
So just to be accurate, first woman engaged, if he pushes her, maybe you got an argument, but then he pushes the other woman. There's a similar case out of Minneapolis where the officer was acquitted with far less ambiguity. Philando Castillo, yes.
Well, and we're going to go into that, the criminal versus civil aspect of it by the end, right?
Yes. Let me unstar these.
And I saw one that right without the time. Okay, I guess you did cover it.
Yeah. So I'm moving to the next one. Rewind before all that. Alex pushes the officer. Alex pushes,
he did. He seemed to, yes.
He did.
Officer pushes woman. Alex seems to push the officer. And then officer pepper sprays. And that was where I said the continuation of force would be appropriate, right? Because he shoved, officer sprayed.
And if
one up.
Yes, one up. And if you look, he's now he sees the push and he looked like he's trying to stop the push from happening. And then that's when he touches the officer. But I don't think, and I think that, to be honest with you, that push, it's almost like incidental contact. I feel bad for even saying that, but it's almost like incidental contact. When I just try to get a look closer to it.
Well, regardless, you could still pepper spray. He did have contact.
Yeah.
And he did interject himself into the situation. So at that point, I mean,
pepper spray, it would be appropriate. So now she pushes her down violently. He or she. He then said go, and then he gets sprayed. So okay. But I want to make it very clear though. This cop initiated all this. Initiated the force, initiated it all. I don't even know if these cops have anything to arrest them because these are border patrol cops. So I don't know if what they're arresting them for. Because I think even if you try to make the argument, this is interfering with their duties by standing in the street blowing a whistle. I don't think you have a leg to stand on. So this is all this force is because they were in the street from the video, blowing whistles and yelling at cops. I don't know if all this force is it comes to this.
All right, I'm going to be right back while you're doing some super chats. So we can be right back.
Here we go. Concealed carry being legal, engaged in unlawful act. I don't know if the unlawful act while in possession of a firearm escalates your perceived threat of law enforcement, doesn't it? Yes. I.e. Kyle Rittenhouse, right? And he did. They didn't know he was even armed. I don't know. Concealed, just because, again, I'm a 2A guy. So if you're saying repeal the Second Amendment, you may, you may be a liberal. You may be a bleeding heart liberal who don't want anybody to have guns. America, we have guns, and just having a gun, you can't. And again, I don't know if their acts were unlawful or, again, filming, being in the street. We're talking about jaywalking at most. So this is a birth of a new Zeppler film, huh? I think I have footage of the SIG going off, but I don't know whether it's legit. How do you send a link on a super chat? It's not letting me. No, you could just either DM me or send it to me on Twitter. But I'm just want to get through these super chats. Awful but lawful. Okay. It isn't that he was armed at a protest or that he resisted. It was he initiated the fight with the cop while armed, resisting armed. I think the cop is the one initiating everything here. The cop is the one that approached them. The cop, I'll ask you this. What legitimate reason does the cops have to arrest these people in the first instance? I'll ask you. Since if we want to go down that road, at this point, when the cops go from here, right? What legitimate they're not local cops, so they can't arrest for the traffic violation, right? They're not local cops. You got to look for some federal authority. They're screaming and yelling at federal agents, not blocking their path. They're not doing this. So you have to now give me a lawful reason why to engage these people. Are they going to arrest them for what? What's the federal crime here? Because we're not talking about local crime, we're talking about federal crime. Standing by the car, yelling at the cops. Yeah, you got to tell me what law is being violated. You're saying lawful and awful, initiating a fight with the cops? No. And matter of fact, from my perspective, it seems like the cop is the one that initiated the stuff with them. So I don't know. It just doesn't.
Did you solve everything while I was gone?
No.
Ah, damn.
Bro, it's after the first shot when they jump away.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Well, everyone is assuming he was resisting arrest based on all angles, even if that's confirmed. Honestly, even this seems subjective. Your thoughts? It does seem subjective that he's resisting or not resisting arrest. But I would say this: put your hands behind your back, and they're wrestling with him for a reason, right? They're wrestling with him for a reason. So I'm going to give it resisting arrest. I'm going to say he was resisting arrest, but arrest from what? I keep asking people. What were they arresting these people for? Resist from what? What it's like.
Well, I don't think there was really a long period of time to have that discussion, Nate. So in fairness, that's why you kind of have to give resisting arrest, because it was just a melee. Like right away, it was just shit flying everywhere. Right at the time, there was no people are saying, oh, he has a duty to warn that he had a concealed carry. It's like, yeah, if you're pulled over in a car and the cop walks up, tap, 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 oh, officer, I have a concealed weapon. This is not that scenario. There is no time to sit there and say, I'm arresting you for blah, 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 or otherwise. Would you agree?
I agree 1,000%. But I'm throwing it back to the audience. You got two women in the street, a guy in the street. They're filming, they're yelling, they're not blocking the vehicle. They're yelling at the officers. They're blowing whistles. What federal crime do these federal officers have to arrest, detain, or even that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. They can jump in a car and go. So what federal crime do we have that would initiate that they are trying to arrest them?
Well, and I don't understand this question. Why do you think he decided to carry to the protest, assuming this is probably not his everyday carry gun? How do you assume that?
How do you know that? Yeah, you're
I understand 2A. I'm just saying this wouldn't be most people's choice for every. Well, he may not be a gun expert just because you have that. I mean, that could be his gun. It might just been the only gun he could buy or afford, or maybe he's stylish. Maybe he does a different gun every day of the week. That could be his Saturday gun versus his Wednesday. I don't know.
I feel like I'm the only 2A conservative in this place here. It's not he went through the process in Minnesota, which is extremely liberal. He went through the process to get the gun, to get the permit. The cops are saying, yeah, he was rightfully, legally had the gun. And now they're saying just because he had the gun. No, just because he had the gun, this thing happened essentially pretty fast. But you cannot tell me that it's preemptive, that just because he had the gun, meaning that, because again, it's almost like I'm having the Kyle Rittenhouse argument again. He had a gun that automatically. No, wrong answer. Wrong answer.
And also those
have the gun.
Those who are saying he's confronting federal officers with a gun, you're putting a visual. When you say that, you're putting forth a visual in people's minds where it sounds like he's brandishing a gun and threatening them. His gun was tucked away. His hands were not holding a gun. And you're allowed to say, why are you doing this, officer, while you have a gun on you? If you're not pointing the gun, he didn't have it out. He didn't have it in his hand. He didn't have in any way. It was secured. It was put away. So it's not quite the same thing as confronting an officer with a gun. That's a loaded statement.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a 2A advocate, and I believe the Constitution gives me a constitutional right to carry my weapon And if I'm involved with police, I'll tell them I have a weapon. But this, just by having a weapon doesn't make me automatically persona non grata where I can be killed. It just doesn't. I can lawfully carry a weapon. I understand liberals think that way, but that's not what it is. You keep stopping the video before the point where people claim he was reaching for the gun. We just saw that.
No, we've had so many super chats tonight. We're just catching up. I think with the point that people said that.
All right, but we just saw. Yeah, that's true. Because we just saw that. We
You're right, and that's where
I don't even think enough people are angry about the radical leaders calling this kind of resistance, but this kind of resistance, knowing it will get people ended. Yeah,
I agree with that. There's been some bad language out there. Not always by Minnesota, but others have said that. Like, you have a right to carry. Those of you who have right to carry, you can. They put stochastic terrorism is a term that comes to mind with some of the commentary where yes, this kind of thing can happen with some bad language.
Is this Ben? I'm looking.
You probably already got it.
No, there's another angle somebody sent me. So there's 2 more angles people are sending me. Thank you so much. Because yeah, so we've got multiple new angles that people are seeing. So I'll share my screen. Thank you for everybody who's sending them in, because again, we're looking for the truth here. This we've already seen, and we agree. It would have been on the floor. We didn't see it, and it can't be his gun because they've taken his gun, and nobody, the administration, not saying that. These are multiple different angles of. This is from the front, him being sprayed. This is the one where it seems like he has something in his hand, but I think that's her head in between his hands. This is the one where it's 2, and this is the one where it pulls. So though that was sent, thank you for sending that to me. This is the other angle from another situation, but it doesn't answer Eric's question about that missing couple of seconds. So I'm full screening this so we can see it. So this is afterwards, and they're saying there's no gun, blah, blah, blah. Where's the gun? So it doesn't look like anybody picks up anything off the floor. So that's another angle. All right. This angle afterwards. It's another angle afterwards. And there was another one here. This is from another vehicle that's from this side. And it looks like it's showing you from before. Okay, so let's see that.
Things got buried. Yeah, unroll your windows.
Come on, move your camera over, buddy. Come on. There you go. Film the damn encounter.
I'd go around.
Ugh. God, we need to hire better civilians for the camera.
So this is the officer. So he's filming, and we see the officer. Then we see. So they seem to be talking.
I don't remember all this engagement here.
I think this is before the incident.
All right, so keep going. Maybe the incident's coming up.
So see, the officer now is pushing him back. He's moving back.
I never saw this before. This
is before. This
is some confrontational stuff here.
Yeah, they're all moving back. He's moving back to the sidewalk, so he's following orders. That other person is moving back. There are still people in the street. And there you go. So this seems like before the shooting, before everything happened. All right, this is before, and I think this is so. There they go too. They are in front of the ICE vehicle, and they're the ICE agents. They're doing their operation. Remember the woman that was pushed before?
Right, but this adds a lot of context.
This adds more context
because it did just have the guy kind of walking along. I'm filming. This is showing that no, he had an encounter with them before this point. So it is important.
Oh hell yeah, that we look through it. No, this is definitely important. So now,
what I want to see is the businesses. If any of the businesses have cameras, that could be really enlightening too.
So here they go. The ICE officers. They look cool. They look like everything is cool. They're just standing in the street filming. They're not actually in the street. They're on the sidewalk filming. So they're not doing anything illegal or unlawful. Okay, they have in context. And there's the ICE vehicle, it looks like. And
We're almost done now. They didn't
that's
get it.
about it. Yeah. So, all right. So,
But it
again-
does add it adds a little bit of context about a previous encounter.
yeah. So it seemed like there was a previous encounter. But again, I don't see anything illegal where federal officials would be arresting you for. They're both on a sidewalk filming. That's legal. He was in a sidewalk film. The guy told him to get back. He's complying. So it went
Somebody's
from
saying
that to
more
something else.
videos on the post. I think he did. I think Nate went through the other videos on the post.
Let me
which
look
we've
at
seen.
it. I want to be fair. I want to be fair. All right. So somebody said more videos on this post. We'll go through it. Here's this guy's post. Breaking. This is the new angle he just put out. This is the one we saw. Okay. That's the only one I see on that post. So if there's something else, I'll look for it. But again, thank you. Please, yes, the more videos, the better. That's kind of how I consider this thing. The more videos you show us, what we can see, the better. So this is, just to be clear, before this. So that other one is before this. Yes, this is before this. All right. Thank you, and thank you so much, because that is definitely helped out. To me, justification hinges on whether the agent who shoots first knows the other agent has the gun. If you hear gun and you see empty holster, it's reasonable to think, yes. It was interesting because I was going to get to that too. But yes, fair. And that's where we're going to get to civil liability versus criminal liability. I think one agent who took the gun out of the holster yelled gun, and then the gun went to reach. Then the guy went to reach for the gun, now missing, or he could have been shot and was reaching for the wound because he was shot.
Right.
Remember, so it could be something. It's all interpretation. Out of curiosity, what was the time code of the shot versus his head
I don't
going
know.
behind the back? I'm not sure. Is it not when he pulls the gun? It is when he reaches for the gun. It isn't when it is visible. I'm not sure what this is. It's not when he pulls the gun. It's when he reaches for the gun. Who reaches? Who pulls? Who's he? The cop? We saw the cop reach and pull for the gun. I don't remember seeing the person who was shot ever pulled for the gun. I don't remember that. Do you remember that? Do you remember ever seeing him reach for the gun?
Well,
he may have.
He was reaching behind his back, but that was after he was already shot.
That's after
so-
after his shot. So, yeah. Only in hindsight do agents know the gun was gone. That's true. That's possible.
What the only problem, and we don't have better angles to see it, but from the one angle, it looks like the guy who did shoot him first, or the LEO who shot him first, seemed to have a pretty clear angle of the guy pulling the pistol out of his waistband. But I could be wrong. He could have not been looking at that exact moment or whatever. Again, it was moving very fast. But yeah, see the one with his arm back right there? There, stop. In the middle, right there. Him, the guy pulling. It looks like he's almost looking straight down at the guy who's pulling the gun out. But it may not be. He might be looking at the guy pulling the arm. It's hard to tell. But I think that's what a lot of people are talking about, because it seems, like he could be looking straight down at the gun being removed.
So
But he may not be.
He pulls his gun out. The guy pulls the gun and runs away, and this guy still got his gun pointed. Yeah, gun gone. Yeah. All right. Let me see. One of the agents asked, "Where's the gun?" after the shoot. Yes, I heard that. Yes, one of them did ask, "Where's the gun?" Not everybody knew he didn't. He wasn't armed, and we'll get into that part, because let me read the rest of these super chats, and we'll get this. They pushed the woman to get the car to move. The white wash car.
The white car, I guess.
The lady was in the way and pushed. Well, just to be clear, that's inappropriate and that's assault. If that's why he pushed her on the floor, he assaulted her, and that's a criminal assault. He didn't have justification. He's supposed to then ask her, "Ma'am, this lady's trying to leave. You don't just push somebody down. Why does she hurt her head? Why does she break her arm?" Yeah, it's an inappropriate use of force. Cops don't get the chance just to push you out the way because they feel like it. I'm sorry. The lady was in the way and push her. This is to avoid what happens with Good. Well, again, I don't think the cop has license to just push somebody if he wants them out of the way. You ask, you request. You can't push. These people have rights. We're in America. Maybe it might be different from, wherever you're from, but here in America, we have rights. Police just can't assault us because we don't do what they want them to do. If we're in the street and maybe an emergency vehicle comes and it's up, then we're talking about maybe a different thing. But just because another person wants to move there and we're standing in the street and moving back, by the way, too, doesn't give you the right to just push somebody down. No, that's an inappropriate use of force. This is frustrating from what I can see. The icy ice didn't escalate.
Doesn't escalate.
Doesn't escalate. That's why folks are getting so upset. Ice doesn't de-escalate. I'm thinking you're saying. I think ice escalated this for sure.
Well, Border Patrol did. ICE didn't do
I'm sorry, boys. Yeah, Border Patrol. That's true. I didn't do shit.
Well, no, ICE is already, taking it in the chin. They're like, hey, it's not us for this one.
Can you see if it's legit and paste the link? All right, I'll ask Eric.
We can't do chat links. YouTube doesn't allow links in chat.
Cops were arresting the two others and not. Yeah, if you could just send it to me.
That's why we were saying DMs and X.
Please send it to Eric on X because my X is starting to get crazy. Send it to Eric on X and then Eric will get it. Cops are arresting the two others, not the decedent. For what?
That's true.
Yeah, but for what though? What were
we
they
don't know that, Nate. I mean,
I know that's what I'm asking. I'm just asking. That would be the question.
It doesn't really matter because it's not up to him to determine that. So, in fairness,
it's not up to who?
It's not up to Alex to determine whether they are arresting for any reason or not. He's not an authority on what the LEOs are doing. So,
yeah, but again, I don't know if the cops. To be fair, I don't know if the cops were arresting him at all. I know that. Bush, I saw this, I saw that, and I don't. It's like. I'm assuming the assumption is arrest, right? But the assumption is arrest.
Well, but the assumption, arrest or not, he did insert himself into the situation.
Yes, and I don't know if I would even say that's accurate because the video we saw before, I think he was already kind of a part of the situation. Not the second part because remember the other cop pushed him.
Well, no, the previous encounter, he did have a previous encounter, but that very specific encounter was between an officer and a woman. I'm not judging anything on it. It was between those two people. This guy inserted himself into that situation. I'm not saying arrest. I'll say encounter.
Yes,
I'm being very specific on my words.
No. So there were two. There were two. When the cop and the first woman looked like, again, we don't know if he got physical, but that he asserted himself into that. And then the other woman was pushed down and then he asserted himself into that. So if that's the case, yes.
Well, in the first one, because the camera's down pointing at the snow, so who knows?
So in both situations, we have a man inserting himself into the situation and seemingly to protect two women. And that's, I think, from whatever, an arrest or whatever. Well, stepping in front of people, it seems like he's trying to do something to block himself from ICE. I think I saw the angle where the SIG misfired as the officer was taking the gun away, which initiated the rest of the fire. Now, if that's true, then that actually makes this lawful but awful, if that's true. But again, I'm not sure if that's accurate. I never said that. I was wondering if he was going into a dangerous situation.
Thought he was going
to a dangerous, just trying to talk things out, not saying anyone is wrong. Okay. I can see this, but I'm not sure if it's a dangerous. I don't know if you automatically think these are dangerous situations. What are we going to do? We're going to stand on the sidewalk and blow whistles and I don't know. I don't know. I don't believe protests are inherently dangerous. I think they can evolve to danger, but I don't think all protests are. I've been to protests where they're very happy. Nothing happened. Matter of fact,
you know that the temperature is 150 degrees there right now. It is a very
so protests are inherently dangerous. No, I don't.
No, I'm saying
bank robberies are inherently dangerous. I think protests are constitutionally protected rights, and that they do become dangerous.
Nate, come on now.
I know.
If he's injecting himself between an officer and a person who's having an encounter, one is armed, there's law enforcement, that is a potentially dangerous situation. I mean,
No,
in
but
fairness.
protests are not inherently dangerous.
Well, but that's a protest.
I'm saying
There's a little more
protest.
going on.
Yes,
So,
I'm saying a protest is not and I believe this situation didn't start off as an inherently dangerous situation. I think it turned that way, just like anything can turn that way. But I don't think it was inherently dangerous. That's why I said bank robbery inherently dangerous, something else but this is not inherently dangerous. I think trying to coach constitutionally protected rights is inherently dangerous. I don't know. Nate, 18 USC 1 makes it a felony to forcibly assault, resist, oppose, impede, and intimidate or interfere with federal officers and employees while they are performing their duties. Okay, so standing on the street, blowing a whistle, not blocking them is doing that, right? Is violating this. I don't think you would get a judge, jury, or anyone who has any reasonable sense in the legal capacity to make this argument. I understand. I understand the argument, but I don't think you'd have anybody who's credible in a legal capacity would make the argument that women standing on a sidewalk, even standing in the street, blowing a whistle, not blocking the officers, violated this law. I think it's what we call in the business an extreme stretch. I own guns and have permits to carry in Minnesota. Castillo, yep, I remember Philando Castillo. We were taught to inform police officers at our own risk. Taught to inform police officers at your own risk. Appreciate the objective analysis. Yeah, well, it's funny because as law enforcement officers, we're taught automatic hands out on the thing, automatically tell, yes, I'm armed, blah, 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 blah. My gun is here, blah, blah, blah. You know, make sure you let them know and do all that. So, and Fernando Castillo did tell the officer he was armed, and the officer overreacted, but was let go. So, had they completed the arrest they were there for? I don't know. Were the two women arrested? I don't know.
no, I don't think the opportunity was there. That could have been the beginning of an arrest, but it never got to that. It's all went crazy. It went sideways, I think would be a fair statement, right?
Yeah, it did go sideways. Nate,
So,
can we not slice it? White coat interaction for the reason for the arrest? Well, I think if you're going to use, if the argument is they're making a lawful arrest, then you're making a seizure. And I'm doing a Fourth Amendment analysis of whether that seizure violated the Fourth Amendment, whether it was unreasonable or not. So now we're saying, if we can't talk about the arrest, then essentially you're saying this is a use of force without any lawful component to it. So this was just an assault. That's why we have to talk about what is the arrestable offense, because they're using force not to just beat these people up. They're using it for the purpose of making some law enforcement action.
We don't even know that there's an arrest happening. They could have just been saying, get your ass off the damn road and go on the sidewalk, and they would have walked away. We don't know. It went sideways, I think, before anything technically got completed. So that's where I'm saying, can you definitively say that they were arresting either female? I can't. I don't know that. Not from what I've seen. You were a cop, right, Nate? I mean, they could have, shoved and said, here, go get your ass back in the corner, and then just walked away. We don't know if it's always going to be an arrest.
So what I would say is, as a law enforcement officer, I do not have the right to just shove someone because they're not doing what I'm saying. What I would have to do is I'm going to use force in that type of way. It has to be justified under the laws of the state. So in that particular instance, if I'm shoving you, it is to either seize you or some other thing. I just, and if I don't have that viable reason of a law enforcement reason to commit that seizure, I've committed the sometimes felony of assault or the misdemeanor.
Which maybe they did do. What I'm saying, though, is, Nate, can you definitively say they were absolutely arresting either female?
I would say,
with the information we have.
So yes, I could say that. And the reason why I would say this was an arrest, I'm not saying it's lawful or not. As soon as you pepper spray someone, that's an arrest. That's essentially an arrest. The pepper spray makes it an arrest. But I'm saying before the pepper spray, I don't think you have facts and circumstances that would lead to probable cause to a seizure or an arrest. But I think after you pepper spray, then textbook is that you have to arrest because you have
to. Then that means I have seen many police failing at their job, because I've seen picket lines and force going back and forth with cops with shields and pepper spray going in people's faces, and those people not being arrested and walking away because it's just an incident. So I would argue that not everybody pepper spray gets arrested necessarily, depending on
Yes.
the circumstances.
Yes. So just to make sure, if the retort is I made an absolute statement that in every single instance this has happened, I expected some charity and understanding that yes, it's not an absolute statement. There are some times when people get pepper sprayed and they don't. For instance, where you have multiple people and you spray in a crowd and you can't get everybody. Yes, that's in those situations. That's not. But if you have a situation where it's 1-on-1, 2-on-2, or even you just have a certain amount of people, you spray that one person. The book says that person is under arrest because you've used force, you've pepper sprayed them, and you decontaminate them. So yes, so there are certain situations where you can pepper spray and it's not going to work. But generally, as a general rule, if you're pepper spraying somebody, that person is going to be placed under arrest, or you've just committed an assault. I'm about 40 minutes in, behind, trying to catch up.
You're way behind, so yeah. Let's come back.
I don't always agree with Nate, EEG Barrett. He's not a liar in giving us false info. Thanks, Nate, Eric. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I sent it to Hunley successfully. All right.
How'd you send it to me? In DM? I don't see it.
All right.
Hold on. Oh, maybe it's under the requests.
Yeah. They did change that up.
Oh God, I hate that.
And again, everybody, the videos that you sent me, that you're sending me, that you're tagging me on, we have seen, we have played up. So if I'm not putting up your video, it's not because I don't try to hide it. It's just, these are videos we've already played before. We've already dissected, and people are just kind of sending me the same thing. You send me something new, I'll pull it up. I'm looking right now.
This looks like the same one that we've pulled up before, but hang on.
Yeah.
I'll drop it in the private chat, Nate.
Oh, you can pull it up? Don't you got the same thing?
Well, it's just easier for me because I can't see it as easily, and you're already there.
Oh, cool. Got it.
I think we've seen that one before.
Private chat. I don't have a link here.
You've got to go down a level. Welcome to the new StreamYard. Go to studio chat under the group chats.
All right, so I'm in private chat. It said I have one message, but
yeah, click studio chat under group chats on the top.
So it's nothing. Maybe I'm missing it. I'm at studio chat, group chat, but I have nothing. But it says your name. It has your picture. You look good, but
oh well, thank you.
All right, now I picked it up. All right. Okay.
I don't know why they buried another level. It makes me crazy.
Sharing that screen. Here we go.
I think we've seen this one before.
Yeah, I'm gonna full screen it so we can all see it in all its glory. Oh, they're saying you see the muzzle, a little muzzle flash, so the gun.
I think they're saying that's him right there.
That's the gun going off. They're saying that's the gun going off. You can see the gun move with when the shot happens. You can see the gun move when the shot goes off.
Do that again? Yeah, because that does look like it. Hold on. Back. Yeah, that might be. It does kind of overturn slightly.
Yeah, it does. I'll play it again. Oh, sorry, let me move the super chat.
Please.
I want to make sure. Went the right one. F. Now I'm going to leave this one up. All right, so let me read this one, and then we go back to this. 643 people in 2020. Physical restraint, dangerous to Leos and perps. Yes, Leo's aggression in response is training policy. I have no issue with the facts. Don't resist. Oh, cool. Respect it.
Thank you.
All right, so now I'm going to pull this down and play this so we can see it.
Maybe. Yeah.
But you know what?
It does have it has a vibration in there. Like the barrel does seem to have a sharp thing, and in a slow motion that would make sense because that would be super fast. We're watching it in slow-mo. Now, I think it's possible. That is very, very possibly what we're looking for, which does make a big difference in the overall.
Yeah, I just don't think it's definitive enough. Killed by Leos, don't resist. Yeah, again.
You just played that.
Yeah. You can see earlier that the guy was waving a vehicle through. Yes, black SUV. Is that directing traffic going to be a problem? Well, unless if these are state cops who are, enforcing state law, then yeah, that's a problem. But these are federal officers who are enforcing federal law, and they can't arrest people. They can't pull people over for running red lights, for instance. They can only, if these people are effectively blocking them from doing their job, yeah. But from what I'm seeing, standing on the street corner whistling, that's just not enough. In a minute he pushes the cop, he is arrestable. Yeah, agree. The minute you touch the cop, you're arrestable. But what about then? I would also say he can make the argument too that the cop's push was unlawful because he's pushing the woman for no reason. But again, we'll be back and forth with that though. But I do agree with this though. As soon as you touch a cop, you can be arrested. That's a fair point. Maybe when they saw the gun, they shouted, "He's armed." I'm agreeing with that. While someone was removing it, yes, we saw the removal. The officer who fired may have seen the gun being taken from his angle, but mistaken it for the victim. Saying, "Yeah, true." I think this is fair. What do you think?
I'm sorry, dude. I was trying to catch up on this DMs here.
Oh no, I what they were saying. This is about like whenever you search, you find a gun. Yes. He's armed, and you look. Then
yes.
The officer who fired may have seen the gun being taken, but from its angle was mistaken.
Yes, and that is possible. That's why I did say that. It appeared he was looking down, but he could have been, again, depending. This is our angle. He could have also been looking at the guy trying to grab the arm, because you're going to be very concerned about the hands, right? You're as an officer, Nate, you speak as a cop. I don't know, but I'm assuming you're watching the risk for yourself. So somebody's trying to hold a hand down. You see one hand seems to be restrained. The other hand is there. You're watching that hand. You're looking for the threat. The threat would be the guy's hands. Does he get something? And in that case, you may not see the other guy pull from the waistband, even though your head is sort of that direction. Is that fair?
That's more than fair. And the timing, we have to also understand the timing. The gun being pulled out happened in seconds. So we would have to assume that the cop saw it. And in situations like this that are stressful, I call it the gun robbery scenario. A lot of times when people are being when you speak to victims of robberies where they're robbed with a gun, we'll say, what does the person look like? And they can't tell you if the person's a man.
Describe the gun, not the person.
Because they focus in on the gun. So that could be happening too. The guy's focusing on one thing and doesn't see because it's a hot situation.
Yeah.
So the arrests, they were parked before the intersection. The arrests, they were parked before the intersection. Yeah. So if they were state police or local cops, you could arrest people for city traffic violations. These are federal border patrol officers. They can't just arrest people for anything. They have to arrest people based on federal law. If they were sworn, if the good people of Minnesota said, you know what, we're going to let these cops arrest people for state law violations, then they would have that authority. But right now, I don't know if they have that authority to arrest people for.
Think that's happening at this
Yeah, Alex is not part of the women officer incident. He was interfering. We agree with that. With that incident. Is that what people point out 18 USC 111? You may be able to get that for him, possibly. Yeah. You may be able to get that for him. And that if that's the way you want to see it, yes. But then I would say if we're gonna nitpick it, and that's kind of what we're here to do, I would then say the federal officers who initially pushed the woman, that use of force was unreasonable based on the Graham standard. The woman didn't hit her. She was just talking, blah, blah, blah. That push extremely escalated the situation. That push was violent. It was unnecessary, and it didn't achieve any law enforcement goal. So if you're saying, yes, you didn't have to, I would then ask you to concede the officer committed an assault to the woman he pushed to the ground. And then I'll give you 18 USC 111. But I would need the concession on the assault.
But even with it, whether it was an assault or not, he still was breaking the law. So two things can be true at once,
Yes.
Nate. We agree on that.
That's what I'm giving him. I'm giving him that he's breaking the law. But then I would say the cop is breaking the law.
Right, and then you deal with that later.
Then
You know,
then you
deal with
yeah.
both. Yeah,
And then
I
you
mean,
kind of
that's
deal with
fine.
both. Because I think the argument is they were breaking the law, but okay. I'm curious what made the officer come out of the car. It looks like they were leaving. They were leaving, and I
Hmm.
think that's the hard part of this is that the cops were leaving, and maybe they said something to make them angry to get out the car, but they were leaving now.
Yeah, we don't know.
Because the door's open.
Yeah.
They're not blocking them. They're not doing anything. So from this point, if we're looking at the totality of circumstances, I don't know why the cop is not leaving.
We just don't know. There could be something. We just don't know.
Go.
Yeah, and then that's when this gets,
Right. Again,
and then he's waving traffic around, violating many state laws, many municipal laws, not federal laws. The cop now goes toward her from this part. Go back. Unfortunately here, and I'll blow it up again, even though it's gonna be hard for us to see. Yeah, and then here, the cop alone seems that something happens here. This is where it happens. This is where we don't see. What happens here? Is the cop
that's a
going to push
problem.
her? Is she going to push the cop? Who knows?
right.
But we do
that's
know,
the problem. So yeah.
yes. But we do know at this point, there's no escalation. The cop's door is open. And even the lights come on, the back lights. Look, they're putting the car to go. The light in the back of the car comes on.
Right. Again, we just don't have the information
Yeah.
to know why. I mean, I assume that there's
Well,
a reason.
well-
Could be legit, could be not. We just don't know.
I love what I think is happening here is people are giving all the benefits of the doubt to the cops, but then when you see a negative, something that's negative to the cops, it's like, oh well, we can just ignore that. We can't ignore the fact that the
I didn't
cops
say that.
not you. I'm not talking about you.
Yeah, I know. I
I'm not
know,
talking
but
about
I
you at
don't
all.
know that they are either. It's just
No, I think they are. I think every time, because everybody, they're trying to fit this into a very unique position. I'm saying at this moment, there's no evidence that anyone has committed any particular crime that the Border Patrol would arrest them for. And if you make that argument, make it for this moment, for everything before this moment. Now, there could be something that we're missing, but the video that I see now, I don't see any criminal activity that would say a federal agent should be arresting someone for this activity. No.
okay. Well, again, yeah, but that's
Difference between jamming radios, blowing whistles, yelling. The police communications can't hear lawful commands, escalation. It's intentional. Okay.
it may be, but it's not necessarily unlawful.
Yeah. Nate, you're be obtuse. The Border Patrol arrests may not have been completed, which is why they could not leave before their interaction, not follow lawful orders. Okay.
We don't know.
So
We don't
let's-
have the
let's-
information. That's all
Well,
we're saying.
we can play it back. All right. So what lawful orders are they have to follow? So are they saying you're under arrest now?
Well, I don't know.
No, I'm saying I'm answering this question. All right, the cop is about to get in the car. What lawful order? He's saying you're arrested. He's saying get in the car with us, right? Again, like what I'm saying. This person is seeing this. So I'm looking, I'm trying to say, I'm being obtuse. Okay. The cop's door is open, he's pointing, right? They're blowing whistles, they're standing in the street. I gotta say, Joseph, I'm sorry. I think this is bullshit. I think what you're
No,
saying
I
is
don't know
bullshit
either way.
from-
We can't confirm or deny.
I'm
So at this
saying
point,
what
we
I'm
don't have
based on
information.
what I'm saying. I think what he's saying is kind of bullshit. What lawful orders are they not following at this point? Like, all right, so the cops, these Border Patrol agents can leave. They can jump in the car and press the gas and go. I don't see it. Is the first shot of the SIG allegedly misfiring? Then the officers firing on Perret, also Perret reaching
Pretty.
when
Pretti.
the first shot goes off, possibly Pretti. Yeah, possible. And I'll talk to the rest of the last super chat. Before the video, I hadn't seen enough to make a determination one way. Thanks for your analysis. I'm leaning to unreasonable, even if you're
Oh,
pro
yeah,
ice.
Let me
Go
put that poll up again while we're at that, because we're going to closing out here pretty soon, I think. So let me put
Yeah.
that poll up to see if people's minds have shifted over time.
And we're going and I'm going to put out a nice quick video just to just to kind of just lay this out in a nice little 10-15 minute video. But I do want to say two things.
And I will add an I don't know to allow that, because some people may still not know. I'm kind of vacillating.
Yeah, I will say this. In this particular case, one, like my personal belief is that civilly, I think the cop is done, even though I know procedurally it's going to be really hard to sue a federal agent in these circumstances. I think civilly, this is a non-starter. This was obviously not a good shoot civilly.
But shouldn't the priority be first criminal? So let's ask.
But yeah,
criminal.
so now, but I wanted to move to the criminal aspect of it. Criminally, I think the officer is likely not. Well, I think there are two ways this can go. Way one, if the first shot was from a misfire of the suspect's firearm,
Mhm.
I think this will be a justified shooting. And the reason why.
Question on that. When you say justify, I mean, is there a third option, like as in can something be justified or unjustified, or something in the middle, like where, well, flip a coin, because you can't tell for certain, you allow it to the cop, but it's not necessarily fully justified. I'm trying to think of the right term for it, but because it's like such a hedge. Or is it 50-50 rounds up to the one side or the other?
In this instance, either it's justified or this is some type of homicide, which is criminal homicide. Those are your two options. And I believe, based on what I'm seeing here, it would be justified. It would be justified. And justified, I'm using as essentially not guilty. And I would say justified would be based on the factors. And I want to be very clear. If the gentleman's firearm, when they pull it away, goes off, and the officers hear that shot,
right,
and then they respond with deadly physical force to what they perceive as a threat, I believe a reasonable officer would have done the same thing.
Okay.
Hearing that shot, thinking it came from this suspect who's on the floor. Would that be reasonable?
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm saying. But then there's the flip side where the person could still have been wronged, and that's where the civil comes in, correct? Because
there was a second part to the criminal. So that's criminal, I would say justified. It was lawful, but horribly awful. The second one is if that first shot was the first cop who had the gun over him. That's the first shot. Then I think we have a whole different can of worms, because now we got a whole different analysis. What did he see? How did he see it? Was it reasonable to believe that this was that type of thing? Then and it wasn't a misfire from the other gun. Then that cop has to then explain why he let off that first shot that got the volley. So the other cops who shot in response, I don't think they have anything to worry about. But it's that first shot that's going to determine if this is going to be justified or not justified criminally.
So just so I know where you are, you're saying if the gun misfired when it was being pulled, it very likely will land on justified
for everybody.
Everybody, period. If it did not, then it's still up in the air. More investigation needs to take place to determine.
Well, then I think
criminality.
Yes, because the person who made that first shot is going to now be judged on, was it reasonable? Were the reasonable officers facing the same sort of circumstances, understanding what they had made that first shot? So this is going to turn on that first shot. Who shot that initial shot? Was it the officer or was it a misfire? And then you have another analysis. And the analysis with the officer could go, hey, he was justified, but now a whole nother analysis that we have to make based on that first shot.
Now, the civil part, I'm guessing, can go back to the whole whether the shove was reasonable or not and uncalled for or not, and the situation escalated to the point if it was the fault of the officers in terms of escalation, and thus there's a civil financial liability potentially to the person. Is that how that works? That and then everything else comes in, because it's not like you're putting somebody in prison. You're saying, hey, you as an organization effed up and you didn't do things right, and so you should pay money to try to make them as whole as possible.
Yes. So it would essentially come down to, was this, if this is a mistake, you pay for your mistakes, right?
Okay.
and if it wasn't a mistake, then obviously you're talking about a criminal matter. So we're talking about the type of mistake we're talking about. And again, it's probably going to be highly unlikely to get paid from the government because the government has so many safeguards for government officials and all that stuff, immunities and things of that nature.
You know what
There's some
happens?
kind of,
Ruby Ridge, they had to pay out.
Yeah, it happens,
yeah,
but
so it can happen.
yeah. No, I'm not saying I'm just saying it's going to be extremely difficult to do, but that's why you pay the lawyers, right? And the civil one, you're right. The civil one. So from what I'm looking at now, I think civilly, his family should be millionaires. Criminally, it really depends on that first shot. Until I can really determine where that first shot came from, who shot that first shot, then I really can't go any farther than that, because I want to give the benefit of the doubt to the cops. But from right now, everything I'm seeing, if that initial cop fired that first shot, this seems to be unjustified.
All right. So just to let you know, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. I get the basic idea. Right now, the poll is kind of where it was to begin with. I don't know, has the plurality of it, which I definitely respect. So it is, was it justified? I don't know, 37%. Yes, 32%. No, 31%. No, so 31%. That is the poll from here. Let's go through our last super chats and put it out to the comments, and people can comment after as they watch it and let us know what they think. What do you say?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Let me say, this is the problem is none of this matters. People in this area don't want people deported. A good pew or not will not stop this behavior against federal cops. I think it emboldens it more. And how do you make them safe? Yeah, I think this emboldens them more, because it's like it's almost you're making all these martyrs, right? And this guy's going to be a martyr, and Renee Good's a martyr, and it's going to, it actually good. Yeah, it's,
I think you missed this one, Nate.
No, I did.
Back, get out of the street. Oh, you did get it?
I thought I did. I'm sorry. If I missed it, I'm so sorry. I'm Joseph. Okay. Yes, I thought I got you.
Right. Yeah, you got that.
Where are we getting misfires from? According to every single testing of the 320s misfired, none of them could go off without someone reward motion of the trigger. Was that reward motion of the trigger? I'm not sure.
That's a potential. There is something going on with that particular gun, firearm. According to some firearm, according to some articles, and there's potential lawsuits with the manufacturer. But that's not something we're covering here. I don't know that, we just don't know at this point.
Potentially criminal. Last super chat. You can be the guy who carries a gun to protect people. Those are cops, right? You could be the guy who carries a gun to engage cops directly. What about you can be the guy who carries a gun to protect yourself? You can't be both, right? So yeah, so you could be the gun to protect people, but I would say people myself. I carry my gun to protect myself and my family, right? But so they may count as people. And you can carry a gun to engage the cops directly. I think the second part, you would have to. You're going to intent here, and I don't know. I don't think there's any evidence that he even used the gun to engage with the cops directly. Do you think that's? I don't know. I just
no. He didn't pull the gun out. Period.
Yeah.
So I think in both cases, gun wasn't pulled. So I don't know on that. But here's my little subtle message for everybody. Behind there, I really do appreciate it. We are 9 away from 30,000, folks. 9 subscriptions away from 30,000. I know you can do it. We definitely would appreciate it. We'd like to get this to 100,000. So we're shooting high. 30,000 today, 100,000 next week. No, I'm just kidding. But it does help a ton, and it helps us bring you more material, potentially getting support from others. You guys have been amazing supports today. And again, please comment below and tell us, what do you think? I am in the vacillating between I don't know and not justified. It's kind of a hard one, or definitely on the criminals. The civil side, I think there may be a big problem. Criminal side, I have trouble with it. So it is not clean. This is not like Renee Good, which I think was definitively justified, no question. This one, yeah, I would not want to be on the under end of this, and if I was one of the people involved, I'd be quite uncomfortable at this point. But
Yeah,
you know what?
it's tough. It's tough. Well, I would say thank you to everyone for showing up for these 3 hours, and we'll see you on the next one. This is a good one.
All right. Thank you all so much, and see you soon.